And we're live. Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Poke Tea Time. My name is Yizzy.
Welcome to the Pokemon podcast. My name is Shivam.
Dang, dude. Why did you have to say it again? Like mine wasn't good enough.
Man, you didn't even say podcast at the end of
Did I
Tea
not?
Time.
Welcome.
No,
Okay,
you
welcome
didn't.
to the Poke Tea Time podcast. My name is Yizzy.
And I'm not Shivam. And our lovely, most handsome guest this evening is good old Rhymestyle right over here. I know a lot of y'all have been waiting on this, but tell everyone what the Tea Time podcast is about, Yizzy.
The Poke Tea Time podcast is a podcast where me and Shivam like to give our hot take on the current news in the Pokemon community or anything in general. You know, you got to keep it spicy. And I know the uh, pre talk we had with Rhyme was really spicy, if I do say so myself. But that stuff is for disclosed. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all can't experience that. I mean, I was sitting there like, ooh. But we
Speaking of
got
spicy, where'd you get that Hawaiian from?
this. I got the Pokemon Center. You know, it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
Got the
that one's.
Pikachu. Got
You
the
got some Meganium
Eevee.
right there.
It's pretty nice, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's made out of what's it called? First
It's made out of rayon.
rayon. Okay, I may wash it. Do you think I should wash it? Do y'all know, Ryan? Do
No,
you know anything
if
about?
you
I
if you
wonder
wash it, it will shrink.
I wonder if shirts like that will ever become like super rare and very desired over the course. Like 10 years later, if you find that shirt, like let me list this on eBay and ends itself like 10 grand, if that could ever happen.
I know
Which
that
I
I
would
know
be surprised. Is there Charizard on it?
I have a buddy of mine that
Ooh.
actually collects vintage Pokemon tees and like actual like he has one like Grail shirt of like the Gale of Darkness shirt, and that thing looks so tough.
Mm-hmm.
But they go for a lot of money apparently.
I mean, you bought the float, not the shirt, but it was like a float, and it was a Lapras float, and you were like, "Ooh, this is going to be a good buy," and it shot up like 400%, and you were like, "Ooh, I got a nice little collector's thing," and then they relisted it this week.
No, they relisted it, but it sold out almost immediately, so the prices
Yeah.
have actually retained itself for the Lapras float.
Mm-hmm.
But just to give you guys a rundown of what's going on this evening, just to sort of talk about it, I'll say the first topic, and then Yizzy will say the other topic. The first topic. Hey, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You gotta figure it out. You gotta
Yeah.
spontaneous.
The second topic, yeah.
So the first topic is obviously the title. Are investors actually ruining the Pokemon hobby? I've been seeing a lot of comments here and there, specifically on Verbank, from which is the TCG side of the community who play the actual TCG side, from TikTok, even on Twitter. I've had people like add me and say like, "Hey, investing is not really great, for the hobby in terms of overall health." And so, we wanted to get to know what Rhymestyle's here opinion is on it. But before we do that, Yizzy, what is our topic number 2?
I really don't know, man. Like, no lie, I really don't. Do we have a
This
topic?
man is so prepared. No
Super
lie.
prepared.
I got,
No,
I got you. We can
Yeah.
talk about grading because there's a lot to talk about
Ooh.
grading in general.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's
From
do
both
that.
vintage and from modern cards actually in
Okay.
Yeah.
general because
Okay. Yeah.
pocket
And before
core
we
is
do
something that
that,
I like talking about a lot.
yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
So before we do that,
I got
let's hear a
Safari
little
on
bit
deck.
about yourself, Rhymestyle. Oh, what'd you say, Yizzy?
I say I got Safari on deck or Google.
Oh, okay. So before we do that, let's go ahead and get to know Rhymestyle. Rhymestyle, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you come into the Pokemon community? When did you start creating content? And sort of tell us what made you realize that this is something that you want to do. Because I know you went to school. Yeah, I know you went to university. I know you did all this. So like, what was that defining moment where you were like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this"? And when did you come in?
I mean, in college, I actually had a podcast that did pretty well over the course of like
Mhm.
the year that I ran it. But
Mhm.
I remember I used some service called mypodcast.com, which was like the one to use at the time, and then went out of business. It went out of business and shut down, and then they didn't even tell anybody. Like it just one day the server just stopped working, and I'm just
Sheesh.
like, are they gonna fix it? Are the devs on it? And then after 6 months, they announced, "By the way, we're shutting down." And it's like you couldn't have mentioned that like 6 months ago. So I was like, I'm not new to content creation, but
Mhm.
so when I graduated college, I remember I interned out here in the West Coast, in San Diego,
Mhm.
and I remember I went to Comic Con and I met a bunch of people who did YouTube for a living, from the gaming side, and I was like, this exists. Like people just sit here and play video
Mhm.
games, upload it, and people watch it. This is dope. This is like the dream. And I
Mhm.
remember after my internship ended, I went back for my final semester and I just started uploading, and I was like, yeah, this is fun. This is enjoyable. But it wasn't until I found like my niche, and which was Dragon Ball at the time,
Mm.
where I tested it out because like I was just uploading here and there. You get like 50 views, 100 views. And I remember I did a Dragon Ball video and I saw I get like thousands of views the first day. I'm just like, damn, I don't know what happened. I must have just got a little bit lucky. Did it again, happened again, did it again, happened again. I'm like, man, there's a lot of people out here that want to see Dragon Ball content. So I started doing some research, and I saw that at the time there were only like 3 people doing Dragon Ball content. So I'm like, let's shot, see what happens. And then I start uploading more frequently. As of January 2014, I never missed a single day. I just started doing daily uploads. And at the time, I had just hit 5,000 subs. So the next thing I know, I'm here. It's like, it fully turns into a career. At the same time, the job that I was working at that got me out, on the West Coast, basically was just in a spiral down. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. I'm gonna just work that job as long as I can while doing this, and I'll just wing it.
What major did you study in?
IT. So I was it's so stupid because like everything you learned in IT, you just kind of teach yourself. For some reason, there's a degree for it. Like I remember because originally I went to college for business, and I realized I did not want to do that only because like the college I went to, which was Indiana University, essentially they had 4 requirements to get into the business school, and that was the main one was accounting. You have to have at least a B, but accounting in there was a weed out class, which is based off of 2 tests. So if you do bad on 1 test, you got to drop out and redo it again the next semester. And then the other one I think was calculus, and then some random classes. Basically what they did is they gave you like these 4 different categories of classes you were required to take and do like B or higher in. But it's like it has nothing to do with business at the time, except for accounting, which I guess you can kind of argue is business. But let's be real. If you're doing business, you hire an accountant. Like you don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I realized it was bullshit. So I was like, well, let's just switch over to IT because I know this stuff, and we'll see what happens. But really, I specialized in digital marketing because like I was heavily involved in the music industry throughout my entire college career, and that's where I was heading into towards graduating. And then I realized as the more I was in music, the more I hated it. So like I said, my entire life is I just winged it.
No, that's the same thing as civil engineering. Like I went to 4 years, got my degree, and I'm working in the field right now. And everything I've learned in the classes has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. Like maybe one class. I got something out of one class, so I can totally relate to that. Like,
I just know my first week at my job, I was just like, they were just giving me stuff left and right, and I'm like, how do I do this? I'm not trained for this. I don't know, go figure it out. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks, college.
Yeah, now I got all this money I paid for nothing.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I did this for nothing.
No one told me, by the way, that taking out loans in college was a bad idea. So like, I don't know if you know much about interest, but I remember the loans I was getting were like 11%. 11% interest.
Jeez.
So in my mind, I'm like, I'll pay it off when I finish, when I graduate college, get my job. Again, they don't tell you what you're gonna owe. So that $40,000 loan I would get here and there was actually going to be $90,000 after graduating. And it's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
You pay the interest first.
Yeah. No, because I realized because I was always on time. I remember I had my stuff set to auto pay. I did the minimum because I wasn't making that much when I first moved out here.
Right.
But like after like 3 years, I'm like, surely I'm like halfway through, and I check my balance, and I'm like, this is not going down. What is this? And I found out, of the $600, $700 I was doing a month, more than 70% of that was actually towards interest first. It's stupid.
Very stupid. You know what's weird?
That's
I thought
insane.
about this because I took a loan out for like when I got my first car, which I did pay it off recently. But when I took it, you could get like a $30,000-$40,000 loan for interest rate of like 2.5% or whatever. Why didn't they just do that and like refinance it now? Because like the typical loan for average student is like $40,000, right? Or is it different when you take a loan? For that?
I'm not really sure. I just know that no one told me any of this shit, and I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you pay your loan off early, you get punished for it. There's also that too.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, you take a hit on your credit score. So I remember, obviously YouTube started working out really, really well. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just like get rid of this. And I remember I paid it all off, and then my credit score went down. I'm just like, for paying it off early. For doing what I'm supposed to do, and the reason why is because if you pay it off early, that means they make less money back with their interest. It's the entire system sucks.
Yeah,
big stuff.
100%. I haven't had to take a loan yet, so I'm blessed in that.
Yeah,
but you don't.
But to answer your question,
yeah, I dropped out.
2016 is when I came back to Pokemon because
Oh yeah, Pokemon. We're talking about Pokemon. That's right.
Yeah, something came up where I was just like, I just want to open some original packs, and I remember I started looking at base packs at the time, and I remember seeing like the base packs were like $90 to $100 a pack, and I remember thinking like, nah, I don't want to pay that much. Let me just find something equivalent to that. And then I found out X-Y Evolutions came out, and that was a base set reprint. So I remember I bought a box because I always wanted to pull a Charizard. I never got to experience that, and I think after like my second box, I pulled Charizard, and I'm like, man, this is an exciting feeling again. It reminded me of when I was a kid, and next thing you know. 4 years later, or 5 years later now, I'm here with this collection that I just acquired over the course of the last 5 years, and I just came back to something that I should have never left when I was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what that's like. I know I stopped collecting Pokemon. I think 2000 was it 2002 when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out?
Yes.
Here in the United States, yeah, that's when so I switched from Pokemon to Yu-Gi-Oh just because like the anime just it explained the gameplay so well. Like it's it doesn't happen too often, but like you have a TV show that actually shows you how to do something.
Yeah.
And so it's really weird as far as like Yu-Gi-Oh Punch, and that was like one of the coolest things. And so I mean I still loved Pokemon at the time. I just played a lot of the video games up till the end of high school. But that was pretty much it. I mean, I shouldn't have stopped collecting. I think the reason why I stopped collecting is because like my mom hated me buying Pokemon cards. Because I remember part of the reason why I do like the Neo era is because I had just got done with Gym Challenge and Gym Heroes, and that's when my mom made me stop collecting Pokemon cards. And I see all my older cousins collecting all the Neo series stuff, and it's like, man, I want that, and I never could have it.
Nope. Guys, can we get a like in the chat for Shiv looking so fresh, so clean, looking like the Rock? You know what I'm saying? All slicked back and everything.
He's capping. I literally got out of the shower after getting off work, and what you see is just water in my hair. It'll frizz up and like while I'm at the gym after this.
Sorry, I just keep staring at it. But
oh, okay.
But no, so the Dragon Ball stuff, you transferred over to Pokemon, right? Like, were you?
No, he still does both.
No, I'm saying
No,
like I'm saying like you created another channel for it, right?
Oh
yeah. So originally, the only reason why I made a second channel was because up until like 2017, I would do 2 videos a day on my main channel, and that was basically every single day since 2014. And when I started doing Pokemon, I was like, yeah, I'll just upload some Pokemon content as well, open up the packs, record my reactions. And then I realized, okay, now I'm uploading 3 videos a day. That could be annoying. So I literally created that second channel just so I can have that content live somewhere else. And but with that channel, like I didn't make that second channel because I wanted to have like a second channel, like and to be a content creator and something else. I literally just created that, just kind of like basically document the journey of opening packs, because like it's exciting.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't upload every single day on that channel. I mean, I think the last time I uploaded on that channel was probably like 2 weeks ago, something like that. Actually, no, I uploaded last week, and then prior to that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were what was it? You were opening unlimited Neo Genesis packs.
Yeah.
I remember because you said it. I don't normally do this, and then here you are opening Neo Genesis packs. It's like this is a given thing that Rhymestyle does on a regular basis.
The funny thing about that video is that video almost didn't happen. So that video, actually, I opened 12 packs of Neo Genesis.
Ooh.
You only saw 6. Yeah. No, I opened the rest. The rest that I had. Well, so the thing about opening packs is like, I feel like as a content creator, I don't want to just give people like the boring stuff. If I'm just going through all my packs and pull nothing, I'm like, well, this won't be exciting. And the more you pull, the more disappointing you are. And like, honestly, by the time I got to my 12th pack, I'm just like sitting there thinking like, damn, oh, there goes like, $4,000 or $5,000, whatever I paid over the course of, the last year. Cause I think I bought them in like 2 different batches.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed. I was like, man, you know what? Let me just skip this entire part and just get to the poker stuff. Cause I did the poker stuff first, and then I went back and opened extra packs in case there was something else. So the thing is I try to avoid, if I buy a batch of packs and they all weigh the same, I just don't see a point in opening them, because they're most likely just weighed, or you got unlucky and you're not going to get any hollows. But the thing is that those batches of packs, all 12 of them weighed had different weights. Like,
right.
in the beginning of the video, I say I bought this batch from Troll and Toad. One's super heavy, one's very, very light. I'm not going to open the light one. And then I had this batch that I got, from verified sellers. Yeah, from ZNG and another verified seller. So it's not like that they scammed me. Like, I literally just got unlucky this time. So as I'm doing the openings, I'm like, damn, you know what? Let me just not even waste people's time, because like, if you just see me open 12 non-hollows back to back, you're not gonna have a good time. So
Yeah.
No,
but yeah, I
it's
do
gonna
that a
be a
lot.
gut punch.
You had
There's
me
a
on the
lot of
hope though. I'm not gonna lie.
well, I don't even like doing that. It's like I've done this a lot actually, where I'll go through my packs and vintage packs at that, and not upload it because I'm like, damn, these there was nothing in these. It kind of sucks, but like I don't know. Whereas normally you would want to upload it anyways, just because like they're expensive. But again, the goal of the second channel was never to like make money or even help recuperate any of my losses. It's literally just to create something of memories or just open these packs.
Oh, absolutely. It's sort of like people having their own personal account on like
Yeah,
Instagram or something, and they have their second account for
exactly.
like for their fitness journey just to show their progress and
Yeah,
stuff. But
because I like going
yeah.
back to my old openings sometimes and just rewatching like that magical moment. Like 2 years ago when I bought 2 batches of EX series packs, and both of those occasions I pulled a gold star out of like minimum packs. I remember it was Holland Phantoms. I bought 3 Holland Phantoms. No, it was two Holland Phantoms pack from Troll and Toad. Second one had Mewtwo in it, and then like a week later I bought 3 Dragon Frontiers and I pulled Gold Star Mew. Like it's fun rewatching that and just like seeing like that happen. But yeah, that's a little secret of the channel. Is like what just because I don't upload every single day doesn't mean I'm not uploading it. Sometimes I'm just recording stuff and I'm just like, you know what, it's not worth it. For example, I told you off camera, like I did some cross grading with BGS, and the only card that crossed literally was this premium file for Alligator. Now the interesting thing about that is in that entire batch it was like 16 cards, and I just wanted to test it out because I've never done cross grading before. Usually you do what you're not supposed to do, and that's to crack out a card. But let's be real. If you crack out a card, there's a good chance it's going to grade a lot better than basically sending them the homework that's already done.
Yeah.
Because the thing that's interesting about the premium file for Alligator is that for Alligator was a 9.5 along with these guys.
Yeah.
Same grade, same scores. So I'm like, okay, so you cross down to a 10, but you leave these. Now notice how it's a Charizard and Lugia that they didn't cross.
Dun, dun, dun.
But the for Alligator that nobody cares about, it's like, yeah, it's crosses. And then there's a couple other high-end cards that I feel like I've graded 9s and 8s that don't cut anywhere nearly as good as these two look, and they didn't cross these. Again, Typhlosion. Like, so yeah, I was gonna do that as a video, and I was like, you know what? I don't even feel like uploading this right now. Ironically, a week later is when the fiasco happened with Logan and Gary's Charizard, where he took it to BGS and they crossed his PSA to BGS, and there's a lot of controversy with that as well.
Yeah. Before we get to that spicy topic, let's get to our first main topic.
Okay.
I think you said that you kind of had this topic and it was kind of discussed on Nav's channel. Shout out to PokeNav. We were just discussing, are investors ruining the Pokemon hobby? So essentially, I put up a TikTok a few days ago about investing into modern cards, and this is kind of where the topic kind of stemmed from. And then after watching ZNG Emporium's video, and then after watching Squeak's video, it kind of just this sort of conversation, this sort of topic just came into fruition in that regard. And then it also came into into the discussion, I believe, on Burbank City. So Burbank City is known on Facebook for being a TCG based Facebook page. I say a lot, guys. Sorry for that.
It's okay.
But essentially, with that site, there were people on there. They were like 100% ready for this fad to die. They were like, I want this fad to die. I want this hype to die. I'm like, why? But we want to know what your thoughts are on the process, and obviously, Yizzy and I will give our points on it.
I'm about to basically shit on that entire concept. So when you were kids, I don't know how old you guys are, but I assume we're somewhat the same age. When you were kids, you remember the first time you had a Charizard?
Yes.
And what everybody around you said? I'll never forget. This Charizard is worth like $35. That was like a phrase that always ran around the community. Since you were kids, there was value behind these cards. Now, I get how investment can ruin the community, especially if you're on the TCG side. I feel bad for people that play the game because they have to deal with basically the BS that comes from scalpers and people who are just all about investments, and they literally take away the cards that they can't even like buy to play. Like the entire, like that sucks. I 100% agree with that. Does it ruin it? Yes and no. I mean, I get why it could potentially ruin it, but I don't think it ruins it. Like, I feel like what you do with your cards is on you. And at the end of the day, any form of gatekeeping I feel like is BS. We should not gatekeep a hobby from people, because the thing is
Anyone.
even if you're just buying these for investment purposes, just because you want to, I don't know, watch your money go up, I don't think that's like the worst. And the thing is, on top of that, the people who are like super investor, I feel like it's kind of niche to compare like the overall grand scheme of the community. The thing that's interesting to me is how people point fingers. Like when Logan broke his first edition box, everyone's like, "Oh, this is why I can't get Hidden Fates anymore." No,
No, that's
that
not
has
why.
nothing to do with it. That was a
Yeah.
vintage set that people already couldn't get.
Yeah.
Because I remember I saw some clip, I remember a long time ago, that was like, that was always the goal to get, and now we can't get it anymore because of Logan. I'm like, when Logan bought that box, it was like $100,000. Like,
Yeah.
if you didn't get that for $100,000 back then, you weren't getting it.
It sort of goes back to when PokeRev did his box break,
Yeah.
and people were giving so much crap to him
Yeah,
when
I
it came
remember
to his
that.
box break, and it's like, guys, if you wanted to buy it, here's an opportunity. It's not going to get any cheaper anytime soon. And the
Yeah.
thing is it's only going to get even more and more ridiculous to
Yeah.
find. Like, how
They
it's
sold
so
it for under
difficult to source
three, I
these
think,
products
under
out.
$3,000.
You
at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah, it was 2,500. I still have one of the packs. I actually sent it to PSA to get graded. It was 2,500 a pack, which
Mm.
is still a lot for a pack. But like, I mean, that was a steal for for first edition base box. I
Yeah.
feel like something like that's happened to crypto right now. Like, crypto has been super crashing lately
Yeah.
because of like regulations and stuff like that. And it's like all the people that were saying like, man, I wish the price would drop. And it's like, where are you now? Like, the prices are cheaper than they have been in a long time. It's like,
Oh yeah, I mean, for me, I hold a decent amount of crypto, and honestly, I do want it to crash because then I just even
Same.
though it's a considerable amount of my portfolio, I want it to go down
You're
just so I can
gonna
buy back more.
Yeah, you're gonna see it go up. Like, it's like, I mean, if you're in it for short term, I see why people can complain, but like, I don't know. I just feel like it's funny seeing how people point fingers for the wrong reason. It's like, oh, you're the reason because all these YouTubers and streamers are opening vintage boxes that literally nobody can get. That's why people can't get battle styles. No, you can't get battle styles because scalpers are assholes. Because people who aren't educated on the actual game are seeing stuff online and they're hopping on the bandwagon as well. But then they realize they can't sell and make profit. Like, see, this is what I said on Pokenav's podcast. These people, the bad actors, are temporary. The ones who love it are in it for the long run. And like, say what you want about Logan. You can come up with all these stupid ass theories, but I know that man, and he loves Pokemon more than like most people that I've seen. Like, it's genuine interest in the hobby. And the fact that there's people out here trying to gatekeep, from all these celebrities and people from influencers come into the market because they love it as much as them. It's just stop gatekeeping. Like, who are we to tell someone that loves Pokemon just as much as us that they shouldn't be in it because they're an influencer, yada yada yada. Like, it's everyone's just pointing fingers. That's the problem. Everyone's pointing fingers. We had a pandemic. They couldn't produce enough product, and it's like people are just all blaming each other for stuff that has basically no backup as to why XYZ is happening.
Right.
Did you see Pokemon
I
release
want
a
to say
statement
this.
on how much they printed this last year? Yeah, that's double.
Yeah,
it was like 34 million or million, and then they doubled it in that during the pandemic, time of pandemic. If we want to look it up, so it's not like they're not.
What
trying.
baffles me is that the same people who are complaining about not getting Pokemon product are now getting Pokemon product. They only had to wait just a few months just to be able to get Pokemon product. And the thing is that majority of the people who were complaining about not being able to open up Pokemon packs, they weren't doing anything else. They want to be able to go to a retail location and buy it every single time. Why not go to your local game shop and buy the same stuff that's there? Like, I've posed this question to Yizzy every single time, and it's kind of like a difficult question to answer. If I gave you a booster pack with, let's say, 10 or 11 cards, right? And then I gave you the exact same cards that were in the pack on the other side of it, would you basically enjoy the same cards on both sides?
Yes.
Would you, and the thing is, like, would you have that exact same experience though? And so, like, the answer to the reason why I asked that is because of the fact that, typically speaking, when people open up booster packs, there's that aspect of waning happiness. Some people are like, it makes me super nostalgic. Well, if you've opened up 100 packs, you're not gonna be nostalgic anymore. You've opened so many packs by now that you need to stop to be able to enjoy something from the past. Like, do something different.
Right.
That's just how I see things.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the first time I heard of that, Shiv. I don't know what you're talking about.
I told you this.
No,
I've told you.
Never told me that. Oh, okay.
Bruh, this.
Yeah. You told me that,
guys,
Shiv.
what
I totally remember.
basically what Yizzy's saying is that whenever we try to come up with these topics and discussions, he just says, yeah, and then just says, sheesh, and then just basically
you call me during my like 9 to 5 job while I'm like writing reports.
I'm at my 9 to 5 job. I'm at my 9 to 5
Okay, we're not
job.
gonna get into this. I know what you do during your 9 to 5 job.
Oh, speaking of which, I had a something I wanted to say, but I completely blanked out, forgot. But I looked in chat, just remembered. Something else that's funny is like how much people are trying to like highlight the negative side of the Pokemon community. When Pokemon got banned from Walmart and Target, it wasn't because of Pokemon, it was because of sports cards.
Yeah.
Like that clip that went viral that every website covered as Pokemon is banned. It was the sports cards. Then there's another clip where people are literally fighting and they're like, wow, over Pokemon cards? No! In the clip they say over sports cards. God, like why? Like, see, that's my problem. It's like
it's the same thing with grading. Everyone blames. It's the same thing with grading. Everyone blames people. Like I literally, like I've had as a middleman, I've literally gotten comments like, "Oh, you're the reason why PSA's backed up." I'm like, no, it's because of sports cards. Like,
yeah,
literally
like,
the majority of the millions of cards submitted to PSA and BGS is all sports cards.
Yeah, here's like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And here's sports. Like, it's funny, like, the prices that we see in Pokemon, they're like, damn, that was a lot. It's like a norm for sports. Like, there's modern-day sports cards that are selling for what vintage Pokemon cards are selling for. Like,
yeah, thousands.
Here's
now,
here's an example. Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I would say this. There is way more potential in Pokemon because not everybody grew up with sports cards, but everybody I feel like grew up with Pokemon. Well, that's not literally, but you know what I mean. Like, I feel like the average person in a childhood is at one point crossed with Pokemon cards versus someone that crossed with sports cards.
Yeah, I mean the
So
reason
Pokemon
is,
in the long run, I feel like can be bigger.
Yeah, because of the experience. So one of those boxes at that time when that video came out, that's when they did the reprint for Hidden Fates. You buy it for $50 retail. And the flippers flip for about $100, $110. Those mega boxes, same price, $50, but they go for $400 on eBay. I mean, that's why people are doing it. Like, they're not doing it for Pokemon. They're doing it for these mega boxes. They're doing it for these blasters that are like a 400% markup.
Scalpers are garbage. Like, for example, I got these from Target yesterday, 2 days ago, actually. And the funny thing is with these, it's $14. You get it's not vintage, it's just basically the reprints of like Metal Raiders, LOB, Magic Ruler, stuff like that, or Spell Ruler.
Yeah.
These on eBay are going for like $80.
That's ridiculous.
I feel like the thing is like scalpers are such a big problem because they know they can just go into the store and just buy these and resell them. And I don't know, I knock somebody for the hustle they do. End of the day, if you got to do what you got to do, then I guess do it. But I feel like people are blaming the wrong people for certain issues that are happening in the Pokemon hobby. Like I remember, well, this doesn't happen all the time. I know my friends who do Pokemon openings on a regular get this constantly. I remember there was an argument I had on Twitter a couple weeks ago where someone was like, "You're the reason why I can't buy." I think it was a reply to me showing off that Lugia sold for like 140 grand. It was like, "You're the reason why I can't buy modern day cards." I'm like, what does Lugia selling for 144 grand have to do with, number one, me, and two, with you? One, if you're saying because I'm a content creator, you should probably check my channel. You'll notice I haven't done any modern day openings in a long time. When I open, and even when I do modern openings, it's in small bursts compared to like, you know, the grand scheme of things. Like I have nothing to do with why modern day cards have gone up. Now you could probably argue, you know, when I was doing tops heavily, these might have actually gone off eBay real quick. And I know what I did. These over here, the Shikishi cards, they cleared out on eBay real fast, like the next day. But the thing is like people are just, like I said, they keep blaming everybody for every little thing and pointing fingers without actual information. It's like if you're saying that you can't get battle styles because I retweeted a Lugia that sold from 2000 for 144, it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. It's the thing is that it's so easy to create this level of mob mentality for people that they're so quick to basically attack one person or just a few faces. And I honestly, in my opinion, I find that completely disgusting. I think if you're going out of your way to attack someone because of something that you can't even control, like there's a whole slew of grandeur variables that took place.
Yeah.
As to why Pokemon became inaccessible for majority of the people. You had the pandemic. You had the fact that Pokemon just wasn't prepared for it. You had the fact that it's the 25th anniversary. There's a whole slew of variables that took place as to why Pokemon became completely inaccessible. But to blame it on even investors, I just don't like the idea of people gatekeeping. Like, I was having this conversation with someone on TikTok. I was like, why can't it be both? Why can't I invest and also collect? into Pokemon, because I'm not going to buy some modern card or modern
Yeah.
full art card because it looks pretty. That's just not me.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, you know what's funny about this is everybody's blaming scalpers and influencers and content creators, but no one's blaming the collectors that just want to go into Walmart and Target and clear out the shelves.
Yeah, yeah.
We at any given moment, we've done this at least once, where we walked in, we're like, damn, let me just get all of these. I've done it before. This is like before the craziness. You know, I have not bought out an entire shelf in a very, very long time. But I know, like, when I first got into Pokemon, I was like, man, you know, I got adult money now, and there's a bunch here. I'm just gonna get the entire shelf. I feel like that there's people who get mad at people for clearing out shelves, but they for fact have done it themselves as well.
I haven't.
And they probably went into Target and Walmart with that same intention and then they decided the shelves were empty, and then they got angry. We don't talk about that. We know these people exist and they're quiet. So it's like people are just pointing fingers at each other, and this, I don't know, it's just all stupid.
Or
It's
there's
just
that
all dumb.
mentality where it's like, oh, I'm a collector. It's okay for me to clear out shelves because scalpers won't get to it. No, that doesn't solve the problem. You're
I
just
never
still
understood
preventing
that.
other people from getting
Yeah.
it. Like I've also seen in some cases I've seen actual people in the Pokemon community literally clear out shelves, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm helping the community out just by giving, like, redistributing all
some
the
of them
Pokemon
are saying
products."
like, I at least open it. Like, I'm not selling, I'm opening it all.
That too, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we
like, that
saw what
doesn't
happened
help.
with the McDonald's cards. The McDonald's thing kind of actually did piss me off for the first time
Yeah.
in the entire year, because the McDonald's thing was trash. It's like you got kids who are going to McDonald's, parents stop by to get them a Happy Meal, and then they can't get cards because people were literally going to McDonald's just buying out all the things. The thing is if you look at eBay, you could have already bought these boxes from people that already basically took that away from the shops. Because I remember. So initially, I remember when the McDonald's cards happened, I went on eBay and I saw that they were selling like the cases for like $600-$700. And then all I'm seeing is everyone's going from McDonald's. McDonald's is taken away from kids who are already like were never going to get, like, who couldn't get it essentially. But you could have just already bought it from someone who already basically, like, I don't want to call them scalpers, but I got it from that middleman that kind of like, you know, took it away from the first place.
Yizzy's about to clown me because my camera's about to die.
I told him to
What I
get
was
a
gonna
dummy
say
battery.
is
I haven't been able to.
what I was gonna say though is modern day investment is actually pretty garbage, and I feel like a lot of people are getting sold this fake dream that, you know, like, look at the Hidden Face Charizard. I feel like it kind of started with the Hidden Face Charizard. First Black Label sells for $10,000. At the time, seeing a modern day card sell for that much that was massively printed, which was a really good chance to get a PSA 10 to BGS 10, was ridiculous. And I feel like people saw that, and that's kind of like when the hype really started to kind of pick up outside of all the, you know, big influencers like Gary Vee coming in. Is people saw that.
Yeah, I also think that there is some content creators to blame. Like, I see plenty of it on TikTok where people are giving out false information in regards to stuff, selling this
That's the
idea
problem.
or dream that making money in Pokemon is easy when it's not. There's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into it, especially if, like, you're, you know, if you're in sales, or if if you're, you know, you're flipping slabs, or like you have to do something, because like there's a lot of cards out there that you can get graded, and you'll actually lose money in the process of if it doesn't grade
Yeah.
correctly. And this whole idea where it's like, oh, you can spend this much money on a booster box and make your money back. That's
Are y'all
not the
talking
entire
about like
case of
quick
it.
flips, or what do y'all mean like modern isn't investable? Can you clarify?
So in this case, it's like
massive
in the
pop.
long run.
Yeah, the thing I want to talk about in this podcast is pop report matters.
Yes.
PSA 9 Charizard at its peak went up to $7,000 last year.
Yeah.
For a PSA 9. And I remember at the time everybody was like, shit, that's going up. Let me get one now because I know I can't get a 10. I think PSA 10 peaked at like 10 no, it was like $30,000. And then PSA 9s went all the way up to $7,000. You know what happened 2 weeks later? They were $1,200. You want to know why? Because there's over 5,000 PSA 9s that exist. Once all the people that have like funds like that they can toss out of cards deplete and they decrease, that supply is still there. The problem with modern day cards is when was the last time you opened a modern day card and you thought, man, that's a PSA 8 right out of the pack? Versus when's the last time you opened vintage cards and you're like, man, this is going to be a PSA 8. Like, I mean, for starters, this is pack fresh. This was pack fresh. 8.5.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what people just don't really understand
in modern.
Yeah, like that's why, you know what? Let me look it up live. Pop. Let me see. Do I have a Hidden Face? Let me just type in Hidden Face. I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous.
Watch it be in the thousands.
I just know the last time I checked, it was in the thousands.
Easily. So guys, F in the chat for Shiv and his camera. You know, I told him to get a dummy battery at the beginning of this channel, but it has not happened yet. So go ahead and smash that like. You know.
Yeah, my name is EOS.
Wait, let me guess. Three
Go ahead.
Three grand. Wait, 3,000.
Close. There's currently 2,800 PSA 10 hidden face Charizards.
Yizzy, you can now say sheesh.
And I think a PSA 10 now, if you were to get a PSA 10, is probably like $600, $700. Whereas again, that first black label, granted, it was a black label, sold for 10 grand.
Yeah.
There's a black label right now on bid that ends in 6 days. This is a $4,000. And I'm gonna assume maybe it'll sell for like 5, 6, 7. But the thing is, that's also a black label. Pop report matters so much. The reason why Lugia and Typhlosion are so heavily sought after right now is number one, the quality control is ass. So if you happen to pull a good one, you got very lucky. I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones that got blessed with a perfect Typhlosion in Unlimited. It's 4 in the world.
Yeah.
Like a card that exists 4 in the world, I can see premium money like being tossed out for that. Again, I never plan on selling mine. So I get why these crazy deals happen. I mean, I don't know if you keep up with Drama Super, but a Sun Goku Awakened Power card sold for 90 grand like 2 weeks ago. It was a black label, one of two. Of two. Now, the reason why that probably sold is actually the funny thing is that same card sold early that year for $5,000 on eBay. And I guess the person that had it was just like, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to sell it. But at some point, everybody has a price. And if someone walks up to you and says, well, I'll give you 90 grand for it, you're going to be like, well.
Wait, so for 90 grand or 9 grand?
Yeah. Awaken Goku Black Label sold for 90K.
Yeah. One of two.
Still.
PWCC said it was one of 3, but it's actually one of 2. So that was like, I mean, that's kind of crazy.
That's
Again, knowing that you own a card that's like one of like, single digits is crazy. But something else I want to point out is I'm going to say it right now. I think Black Label is absolutely bullshit.
Really? What makes you say that?
It's bullshit because think about it. How many pristine 10s have you seen where you're just like, where's the 0.5? Like,
yeah.
Because I guarantee what happens is they grade a card, they look at it and say 10, 10, 10. Let's give it one of these 9.5 because there's probably like, something that potentially is wrong. That's
sort
why
of like
I'm happy that they're doing AI grading now because AI grading is going to be as accurate as it gets.
Yeah.
But I also
no more
feel
pop
like
control.
I feel like AI grading is probably only going to be limited to modern day cards. They're probably never going to use it on old cards because they don't want to start giving out 10s left and right. Because BGS and PSA, they're smart. They know that once a lot of 10s start popping up and Black Label start popping up, then it'll like dwindle the name or something. I don't know. Like for WotC, there's only 2 WotC Hollows Black Labels that exist. And they're actually ironically both from Neo Genesis. Blossom and Togetic, both unlimited.
Do you know?
I think Black Label is just bullshit. It's just there's only 2. There's literally only 2.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of Black Label like modern cards too. Like when I went to Collecticon last week, shout out to Collecticon, we'll be there this weekend. There was a lot of like modern day Black Label cards like that people were selling. I saw a lot.
It happens pretty often.
Yeah, there's actually a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said investing in modern is stupid because like now let me not say it's stupid because I don't know what's gonna happen 10 years from now. Yeah. You never know. 10 years from now, that pop 3,000 hidden face Charizard could be, I don't know. It could be 1,000. Maybe something crazy happens. There's like a war and it cuts down the numbers. We don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe there's going to be 10 million collectors who are all millionaires 10 years from now who want that card again. Like that's always like the what if variable.
So
but
like someone. Oh, sorry to cut you off.
I was going to say, I feel like collecting modern day cards with the intent of like getting rich is just, it's not going to happen. Like these cards are going to keep going down over time, like, cause I bought a rainbow Charizard VMAX for like $500. I remember at the time thinking like, oh, this is a good deal. It came back graded 10. Fantastic. How much is the PSA 10 today? $500. If I would have waited a year, I could have just bought one.
Yeah. I sold mine quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I put that money towards my Charizard versus Lugia card from Meiji.
Oh yeah, I want that one. That one's beautiful.
Yeah, I think the guy's still asking too much for it.
Oh, Mirror Mix.
Yeah, I think Mirror Mix has his listed for a little too much though. I know David Lopez bought one off of him, but essentially, when speaking of grading, there was a question asked me like they were like, so when would modern become investable? And I said the only real way a lot of modern cards were to retain or regain value is either A, majority of the mass supply would either have to get destroyed, or B, what's already being put out there on the current market would have to be reabsorbed by a brand new group of collectors. Like we would have to have more collectors come into this space to basically absorb what's already out there in terms of the actual market, which would then create more demand behind it. It sort of goes to the same question when it comes to sealed product. If everyone in their aunt and uncle or even their dog owns a sealed box of evolutions and none of it's being cracked open, then what's the real value there?
Yeah,
or when
exactly.
I think a lot of the modern cards, the value that's already attributed to the cards right now at the moment is false. Simply because the fact that one, we don't know the true population reports in regards to a lot of these cards, and then two, where there is a massive backlog between 3 different companies, we don't know how many of these cards actually exist. Like what, like we could get out of this 2 years from now, and Evo Zards at PSA 9s could be well into like the 7,000s. It would not surprise me.
Well, that would surprise me because there's so many. That's why I
Yeah.
think Pop Report matters the most because, like, again, look, when I got into Pokemon, my number one goal was to get a PSA 10 Lugia, and I remember at the time I saw one listed on eBay for like literally 8 months. Nobody wanted to buy it for $1,100. PSA 10, $1,100. No one wanted it. Nobody wanted it. Nobody cared about Lugia. First edition. Nobody cared about it. Then people found out that the wave started with TCA Gaming. TCA Gaming bought a PSA 10 Typhlosion for 10 grand. And everyone was like, are you kidding me? Like, are you paying 10 grand for a card that's not Charizard? What are you doing? And then they realized, wait a minute, there's only 9. At the time, there was only 9.
It has that red dot too.
Yeah. There's 11 now. But they saw Pop Reports. Then they went to Lugia and they're like, wait a minute, there's only 40 of these at the time? Maybe we should look into these. Because, see, the thing is if you have this hobby where there's millions of collectors, of those millions, maybe like 1% are millionaires. That's still like a lot of people. And these numbers are in like the double digits, sometimes single digits. They're going to fight for those cards. That's why they're going to do, they're going to open up their endless wallets trying to get these cards. My dog is barking in sleep right now. But yeah, they're going to open up all these wallets. Whereas cards that, exist in the thousands for the Pop Report, while they might be iconic, I don't know how many PSA 10 base Charizards there are in Unlimited, but I'm sure it's in the hundreds. At some point, you're going to get to the point where everybody that wants one will have one, and then the numbers will go down. Lugia sold for $129,000 in November because PokeWizard really wanted it. And then we saw that second one sell for $76,000. Does that mean the price went down? No, the price is still depends on the seller. The reason why that second one sold for $76,000 is because that was one less competition in the game at the time trying to get that card. And then we saw the Black Label sell for $144,000 because at the time that's what was worth to them was $140 grand.
Right. I think also another thing to add when it comes to modern cards, if the set itself has terrible print quality and it has a really high demanding card in there, like let's say Burning Shadows with a Charizard GX, that's a card that I think will stand the test of time as far as modern cards go. Like to this day, that is still the most expensive card in Sun and Moon.
See, this is why the way I approach modern day cards is if the art is dope to me, I want it. I want that Blaziken. I don't care if that Blaziken is going to be worth 2 cents 10 years from now. I want that Blaziken because him on top of that Skyscraper looks dope to me. So I'm not even going to try pulling it because pulling modern day cards with how many secret rares exist is just way too. It's just not fun anymore.
I love expensive too.
It's not that it's expensive. It's just not enjoyable. Like you buy a booster box from back in the day, you're going to get 12 holos. It's great. But now it's like you have all these different rarities. And then if you finally hit that right rarity, which is Rainbow usually, what are the chances it's going to be the one that you want? Like the thing that I hated about Hidden Fates and Shining Fates was the fact that there was like almost more secret rares in the set than there was like the regular amount of cards. Like that's crazy.
The vault itself had more cards than the actual overall set.
Yeah. Champion's Path was a boring set because there's only one card you wanted in there. And they knew what they were doing. Pokemon put that card out because they knew that they were going to buy that and then buy it again when they released, Shining Fates later.
I think we're also kind of spoiled. Like Hidden Fate, like I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked Hidden Fates because it was fun. Like not in terms of the investment.
It was fun.
Like not in terms of like the investment opportunity of it. It's like you have to think about how like when was the last time we got actual shiny Pokemon in a set before Hidden Fates? It was a long time. I think what was it, like 4 years?
Long time, yeah. Shining
Legends. Oh no, Shining Legends. Sorry, yeah, Shining Legends 2016.
And then prior to that, I would say maybe Call of Legends. No, I think the Black and White era had.
Black and White had shiny Pokemon.
It was like
this is why. This is why, like 2 years ago, before like the wave really started going crazy, I remember I was the one preaching like, hey, if you're looking for cards that are collectible and you still care about the investment value, because at the end of the day, as a collector, even people who absolutely love these cards, it's still cool to see your card go up in price. Like that's the coolest
even if you don't sell it.
Yeah, because one, it's like if you spend thousands of dollars on a card, you're thinking like, damn, I just put this much money into a piece of paper. But then seeing that the values retained is dope to me. You buy a card, the second you drive it out of the lot, it's depreciated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grind.
So I remember I was always preaching like, yo, if you want to get into collectibles and get cool art and iconic Pokemon, look in the middle era stuff. Like, prime Pokemon cards, all low pop. Typhlosion, the one that I won and Stella canceled it and refunded me because he could have got more money. Which by that did happen last week. I think I told you, Shivam, about
Yeah, you
that.
told me.
Pop 15 in the world.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Like if you look at all those middle era cards, like everyone's too busy talking about WotC this, WotC that, but like cards in the middle, like Call of Legends, like all are like in the teens, like 20 cards exist, 30 cards exist. Like there's so much you can get for cheap at the time that will retain its value and like quadruple over time.
Yeah, I know when you were preaching about level X's, I know we said we even shouted you out at that time. We were like, Rhymestyle has said level X's. We even showed the pop report at the time. I don't know if Yizzy remembers, but like it was literally zeros across the
I
board.
remember when you were like, I got the box for like $4 or $5 grand. I looked over, it's like 8, 9 now. I'm like, dadgummit.
Yeah. And I mean, like another thing that people tend to forget is like buy what you actually really like. Like I know I was collecting cards outside of the actual TCG. Like I was collecting cardist stuff, like the File 00 card.
I have the card ass stuff. Oh my!
The checklist card. I have that as well.
I'm so upset at myself for not buying the Charizard when it was up for like $1,300. Because Shiv, you know I talked to you about this. I always felt it was stupid to buy a card that wasn't WotC, but it cost more than WotC. So seeing like a card ass card being $1,300 when I could have just bought a Charizard for that much, I was like, nah, this is stupid. But now I'm looking at that same Charizard and it's sold for $3 grand. Twice. Actually, I think it was sold for $3 grand. And I know there was a private deal that Charizard King did for like $5 grand.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting thinking like, damn, I should have just got that.
Yeah.
I buy 9. So end of the day, I got the card that I wanted. Like I always buy the card, not the grade.
Yeah.
But
and I mean,
even
with Topps cards, like I last summer in April when I bought my first appearance Lugia for BGS, it cost me $860. And literally after putting it on social media, a guy came up to me wanting to sell it. And because it's one of my most liked posts. They were like, I was like, how much do you want for your 8? He said $2 grand, and I'm like, man. I was like, I shot myself in the foot on that, but I was like, okay, I'll do it. At that time, I was like, it was worth it. $2 grand's not bad.
See, this is why I love ZNG so much, because ZNG came across this card. He bought it.
He looked
out
on you on that.
Yeah, he was like, hey, I bought it for $700. Do you want it? I'll sell it to you at cost. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you realize you could just take this card and like quadruple your profit probably.
Yeah.
Like, but he knows that I love Lugia and I want the card. I'm not buying this for the value. I don't care how much this card is worth. If this card's worth 2 cents next year and I paid $700 for it, I don't care. I have this card now. I own it. And like,
how about that video
it's so beautiful.
How about that video he made on for $29.99? You can become a million.
Buy a Poke course. Yeah.
Or family heirloom secrets. That video, man. He had me dying and rolling on that video.
But that Lugia, I mean, like, so many people are like, why are you spending that much money on Lugia to begin with? I'm like, well, one, there's never been a single 10. Like, on BGS and PSA, there's never been a single 10. The print, the way they produce the cards is dumb. Like, the moment you take it apart, it's no longer a 10.
I think I have my Blossom next to me.
Ooh.
And Shiv, I showed you the Blossom. I pulled the Ghost Rare, and it was absolutely just glued to the it was terrible.
Didn't you say you tried to microwave it?
I've tried everything. They told me to put it in the freezer, didn't work. I tried to microwave it, it started sparking, didn't work. There was no saving that card. The reason why,
did you ask
your
like,
goal
like
is to
a
get
materials type of like who did you ask? Like have you asked?
I looked up every possible video, and it's funny because
dude, I've seen they all say the same thing, like freeze it or like put it in the microwave. Like if you look at older like even with because like there's Topps cards produced for different sort of franchises like Marvel and stuff like that, so people would actually put that stuff in a microwave and it would come apart pretty easily.
I'm convinced there's no quality control in Topps cards because that issue is still present today. And I know Rev did some openings. I don't know if he uploaded a video or not yet, but he opened some and he called me literally in the middle of the video. Was just like, hey, I just pulled these cards and they're glued together. What do I do? And I'm like, you gotta take the L. That's why I stopped opening them. I remember I was buying up all these packs left and right on eBay, and I'm so mad because one time I got so lucky, and I found out one seller that perfectly stored their box, perfectly stored it.
I remember
every card I
this.
pulled out. it was like butter. I've
Yeah.
never seen a Topps pack open that smoothly before. And I bought the entire box except for one pack. And you know why I missed that one pack? Because I remember because I was messaging the seller and I'm like, hey, if you have more, let me know. And he goes, oh, I got some more. I'm like, okay, cool, invoice me. He goes, no, I'll just list it. I'm like, no, just invoice me. I can, number one, you'll skip eBay fees and I'll just buy it directly.
Dang.
The man lists it and he goes, just type in for Rhymestyle. It'll be up in a second. I'm like, okay.
And someone bought it.
The second he listed it, someone bought it. I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way somebody was sitting there watching it. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, if I open 35 packs in that box, and every box is guaranteed to get like
one,
either you get, I think you either get the film strip or you get a first appearance card. I'm still thinking, like, what if that one pack that got away was the Lugia?
Yeah.
So what
What I also
story? So I'm guessing you didn't. He couldn't honor.
He didn't get anything.
You didn't get anything.
No, but good news is, like I said, every single card I pulled out of that box essentially were flawless. Like, I don't know how many Topps 10s exist for this set, but if there's none, I pulled them. And they've all, I think I sent them a PSA. They've all been sitting at PSA since like last September. So whenever those get back, I might be the one who has the only 10s for like the hollows. In the Pokemon
unless Murph has them, because it wouldn't surprise me if he has them.
No, I know he has a 9, and I think he has 2 9s. He has two 9s and an 8, and then he has like an authentic one that doesn't even have a grade. You know what's funny? I know is Murph bought that binder, were the ones who had all graded as 9s. I remember we were going back and forth about it, and I almost bought it. I thought about that. Do I want this? Nah, you can have it. I just feel weird paying $2,000 for that entire binder when I just want one card in it. And he goes, all right, cool, I'll do it. So I think he flew out and picked it up in person and everything, and got it all graded. And they were all. I remember this. And I remember sitting there thinking like, FOMO. I could have gotten this.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Karma works out because Lugia found me end of the day.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
if you buy sets, do you fly out? Do you fly out to like go look at them?
I almost never buy cards in that caliber. The most expensive cards I've ever bought was I bought a PSA 10 Gold Star Charizard for $4,000, and I think that was actually from PWCC. $4,000. Looking at that price, that's
a 9.
That was robbery. Because I used to love buying cards, finding like the minty cards, then grading them myself. Like I love that part about Pokemon, but you can't do it anymore.
Nope.
No,
so
I used to love going on Troll and Toad and doing that.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like you and I probably fought each other a lot when stuff popped up. Like, every single time something popped up, it was gone within the next couple of minutes because either I bought it or someone else got it. And you send it in, you see if you got lucky, it comes back at 10. That was so fun to do. And I think I had a total of 4 Gold Star Charizards that all came back as 9s. One came back as an 8, and that's the one that I got signed by the artist last year when he came to Dallas.
Dang, you didn't want to get.
But I remember I was looking at all 4. Well, no, that one was like it doesn't even have a grade. I just basically authenticated with the signature.
The signature,
grade.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just sell my 9s and then I'll just buy myself a 10. And that was kind of like what I wanted to do. And I think I still have the 9s, and I actually never end up doing it. I do it a lot where I'm like, you know what? Let me just sell my 9s to buy a 10, and then I just never actually.
Yeah, I think you kept it because I watched one of your older videos where you just like you were going through your Charizards and you just show it's like, I want to sell it, but you never did, so you still have it.
Because I don't like selling cards. I feel weird about it. Like, because the thing is, it's like almost every single card I own, I graded myself. Whether I pulled it or bought it, I graded it myself.
Yeah,
and
there's that sentimental attachment.
Yeah, I feel like I remember there was a guy who was going back and forth with me who I sold cards to before. Every now and then I'll say, fine. If I could tell you're a collector, I will do it. But there was a guy who was going back and forth with me for months trying to buy my Shadowless 9 Charizard, base Charizard. And I said, no. Because he was trying to offer me $1,100. And at the time, I was like, I'll do 15. 15 was like the max value you could probably get at the time.
Right.
And the only reason why I asked for 15 is because I was like, you know what? I don't want to sell it. But if he wants to give me max, I'll do it. And he kept saying, no. Maybe if you do like a bigger trade. And I was like, no, let's not do it. And I'm happy that deal fell through because those 9s literally 2 months later are like ridiculous.
Yeah, they're stupid expensive.
This is what hurt me the most. Again, the card I wanted the most was a PSA 10 Lugia. I graded roughly 20 plus in 2018.
Jesus.
9s. How many of those do I have today? None.
Jeez.
Not a single one.
Cheese and
The reason why is because what I would do is over as I develop bulk, as I develop a bunch of slabs that are just like kind of taking up space, I do get rid of them sometimes. And I sold all those 9s for like $100 to $200 a piece because I just didn't really want them anymore. And again, my goal was trying to get a 10. And once I finally got my 10, then that's why I was like, you know what? Get rid of the rest of them. I just don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
How much is the 9 today? That's why I don't sell cards. That's why
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
sell
for me,
cards.
like the only time I sell my slabs is only if I find something in the heat of the moment where it's like I value this more than this right here. Like I remember selling my PSA 10 I think it's like 10k XP points fan club card. I bought it for 95 and I sold it for 500, and that went to my first appearance Lugia card if I remember correctly. And I don't know. I just like having the first appearance card more just because of that fact. Or I think it went to my 8 Elekid, or I can't remember exactly what it went to, but I know it went to something.
Right.
But sometimes you have to make sacrifices for your collection to grow.
Yeah. My thing is like I don't keep these cards in my house usually, but the ones that are like lesser value, they end up just stacking up. Like I have this batch from a couple weeks ago that's just been sitting on the side of my desk. Like they're not like high end cards. Well, there's a couple like Lugia PSA 9. But what happens is I will literally just like build up some of these stacks. I just sit there and then I'll look at it every single day and I think like I gotta do something with these. Like maybe if I get rid of them, I can buy more stuff, or I can put it towards getting like that 110 that I want. And that's what happens is every now and then I'll cut down my collection just so I can basically turn something else.
Yeah.
And that's when you sell your PSA 9 Lugias left and right and realize you just wasted a lot of potential money there.
Oh man, I mean, when I was getting my PSA first edition Shadowless Charizard, it was tough letting go of my Lugas. You were like, do it. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I like these cards. I like the art. And then you were like, dude, it's a grail. You have to do it. So I went ahead and do it. So like, I'm sort of in the same position right now, where where me and Yizzy were about to go to Dallas, and I'm trying to get a 9, and I'm low key possibly if I can get I have raw Digimon cards from Digibattle Series 3 and through 6, and I potentially might let some of them go. And maybe if it comes down to it, maybe one of my first appearance Lugias, and it's like, man, that'd be the worst thing ever.
I mean, if you have 2, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I'll double up. If I double up on cards, I don't mind, get rid of one and keep the other one. That's why I always like try to get one copy of something first, and then if I have that second one, just in case, you never know. My other thing
I just like having Lugias. It's just me.
My other thing is the 10 actually worth it, or is the higher grade actually worth it? Because I know I have some 10s that are not 10s. Like I have this I have Ultimate Rare Uria from Yu-Gi-Oh! First edition from Shadows of Infinity.
Yeah.
It'll do that. Yeah. If I do that, the grade actually has to make sense, because just because it's a 10 doesn't necessarily mean it's a 10 sometimes. Again, I got a Typhlosion back 2 weeks ago that I thought was great until I, turn off my camera. I look at it, I'm like, holy scratches, how did this get a 10? But then this one that I sent to cross grade from BGS to PSA, this wasn't 9 worthy. This is way better than the 9 that I have. So something else to just keep an eye out for is if you do end up upgrading to a 9, make sure it's actually a 9 and not like a fake 9.
I'm out, guys. This is what I get for making fun of Shiv on his camera. Now my camera's out. I'm sorry, guys. It's the Rhymestyle show. We're all gone.
Good old frame drops. I was dropping frames yesterday on Twitch. It happens.
Oh, he's back.
Did we lose Shiv?
Maybe we lost Shiv. Shiv, are you still here? Hello?
He's probably connecting on. He's probably getting like the connection loop on Discord. I can see him typing.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Shiv?
He says, "Can you guys hear me?"
No, we can't. We can't hear you. Sorry, Shiv. Dang, Shiv, did you crash my whole thing sole-handedly? Sheesh. Oh, Shiv's in that loop. Uh-oh. And he's back.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Oh, wait, did I just hear him?
Oh, Shiv.
You also try restarting maybe the computer.
Oh, my computer? Oh, he is.
No,
he
his.
is.
You can probably restart his. It's probably on his end.
Oh, okay.
Now I can hear you guys.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, sweet.
Bro, I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
either.
the beauty of streaming.
Yeah.
Oh, was it really? Was I just screaming?
No.
You were just on your own.
No, he said the beauty of streaming.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Streaming.
Well, you know, the only professional here is Rhymestyle. Camera's still going strong.
What happened to your camera, Yizzy?
I have no idea. My system just started freaking out.
So I guess Rhymestyle is just the guy who's in charge of our show right now.
Yeah. He's the eye candy for the stream right now. That's about it.
I mean, he is pretty handsome, so yeah, everyone should be okay. You guys are in good hands.
Yeah, I don't know where we left off, guys. I'm sorry.
I think we were talking about how his Uriah wasn't a 10 quality.
Yeah, I was just basically trying to say that, like, to the ones that care about the card,
Yeah.
collect the card and not the number that's written on the case, because sometimes graders, they don't really know. I say they don't know what they're doing, but sometimes they'll give you a card that's definitely not the grade that it deserves. Like the Uriah
There's
that I
definitely
have,
that margin of error.
the Uriah that I have is definitely PSA 7 or 8 quality, and somehow I got a 10. And
Right.
you know, a lot of times people will be like, "Hey, I'll buy that card off you," and I'm like, "Nah, it's not like a 10 quality. It's maybe like a 9 or an 8." And then they're like, "No, it's okay. I still want it." I'm like, "No, you don't want it. Either you want it because it says 10 and you know you can resell it, or you want it just because it says 10 when all reality it's not a 10." Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think my card that I wanted.
And you're happy with that.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Anything that I don't regret whatsoever. But like this weekend it's like, man, do I really want to just like give up, a first appearance Lugia, because I really do still think that it's extremely undervalued simply because of how difficult it is to grade. But like I'm also wanting to get a PSA 9 first appearance Lugia.
If you can get a strong PSA 9 Shadowless, do it. Do it.
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing.
Shadowless?
Are
you trying to trade for a 9? Wait, are you trying to get a 9 Shadowless or 9 Lugia?
A 9 first edition Shadowless Lugia,
Yeah.
and then at some point this year, I do want to get a first appearance 9 Lugia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, you said first edition Shadowless Lugia, so that kind of threw me off. Are you getting?
Oh no, yeah,
Are
sorry.
you getting a Shadowless Charizard or a Lugia?
First edition Shadowless Charizard.
Okay, yeah. No, if you get a 9 and it's a strong 9, absolutely get it. But
Yeah.
if you see a 9 and it doesn't look like a 9, don't do it.
Yeah. I saw one of the guys. He's coming there. He has a BGS 9, but I don't know if he's interested in doing a trade or not. So, hopefully it's pretty strong, or hopefully DFW is wanting to do some work. But as of right now, I'm just bringing it just to showcase it. But hopefully something works. I'm pretty hopeful.
After listening to you about the BGS and the PSA, Shiv, you have an 8 Lugia, right? First appearance.
Yeah, I have a BGS 8 first appearance Lugia and a PSA 8.
So how do you think that would cross over with BGS then?
Well, my PSA 8.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like this.
Because
I think it kind of.
y'all were talking about a discrepancy between it.
I think with PSA in general, I think PSA just grades the first appearance stuff like horribly. I don't think they understand
Super
what they have.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you got an 8 with it being graded harshly, how do you think it would do with BGS?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, my 6 became an 8.5.
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
my corners are pretty solid. The surface is okay. I don't have any edge wear on mine. It honestly, to be completely conservative, there I wish I could show you guys. I've shown Rhyme plenty of times my card, like the entire surface of the card. So I don't know. Maybe it could get an 8.5 at the least.
Yeah.
I think my 8.5 definitely is deserved, because like when I got that 6, I was just like, "But how?" And
Yeah,
I know,
yours has that little adhesive issue, but I don't think. That has nothing to say about the actual card itself. Like that's not damage.
When I got this card, there were people who were criticizing it, saying like, "I don't think it should be an 8.5." I'm like, "No, it is." Centering, as you said, centering on these should not be anything lower than a 10, because
It should be a 10 period.
Cut. It should, because again, it's got the edges, so you know that if it's miscut, you'll see the extra, and there isn't any. There literally isn't any. So
1000% it's a 10.
The center should always be a 10 right off the bat. Surface, there's no scratches on this at all. There's no scratches. The only issue my card has is it's got that extra adhesive at the top, which I think that counts as edges, which is why the edges got a 7.5. But everything else, corners, the thing deserves 8.5. I'm happy with this grade. This is as accurate as it gets. Whereas PSA, they gave me a 6. I'm just like, how? I think the reason why PSA gave it a 6 is because they saw the adhesive and they probably thought this is like a crease. It does look like a crease if you look at it, but it's not. It's literally just like it's hard to show you on camera, but like if you're holding it, and Shiv, you've obviously you've held it before, you know what the adhesive looks like, and that's exactly what that top layer actually is.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of like my PSA 8. Like it has this little streak. It's like a slight streak. It's not even a scratch. It's like a slight streak on the actual card itself, and it's like that's adhesive. Like it has like a reflexive property to it. It's not a scratch on the card whatsoever. It's an actual streak.
Yep.
on the card. It's like 3 different lines, and it's like it's where they pull the card off of the other card, and that residue still stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm hoping, you know, the 8 could potentially cross over, but again, I don't know, considering that I actually bought this off of another collector. Granted, Yizzy's back. Granted, you know, he's always offered to buy it back off of me. Like I remember like getting a DM off the guy. He's like, I'll buy it off of you off the same price that I sold it to you for. I'm like, nah, man.
No.
Like, no, dude. Like, did you see the recently sold listing of a raw one that sold for $4,000?
Jeez.
Yes, I was debating about buying that. It's funny. So I have a perfect Slowking.
Ooh.
This is one of those.
Ooh. I
Now,
can see.
there's a sad story with this. So my
Oh,
friend gave
man.
me this as a gift, right?
Uh-huh.
He pulled this. Not only did he pull this,
Uh-huh.
but he got lucky where he got like a perfectly stored one. So he mailed this to me, and UPS lost it and
No.
crushed it. So there's actually a big crease. It's very hard to see. It's very, very hard to see, but there is a
Yeah.
crease in the back now.
No. How did he
I was trying to
ship it
find
to you?
really, really well. It was super well packaged. It's just UPS was just being stupid that day, and they just crushed it and lost it. No, I think it was FedEx actually. I don't remember. It was one of the two. But yeah, that was a bummer. I finally get it, and I remember he after it was lost, he messaged me. He goes, "Oh, they found it. It's great. You know, I can send it to you again. Am I perfect?" And right as he was about to ship it to me, he looks at it and goes, "I got some bad news. There's a big crease on the back," and I'm like, "Fuck." But it's fine. It's still a beautiful card. And again, this is one of the most beautiful Topps cards I've seen, just because it doesn't have any of the issue that we saw with the what we're just saying, the sticky
The
residue.
adhesive. Yeah,
Adhesive,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I have a buddy of mine. His name he goes by Gear Ninja. His name is Kevin. He
Mhm.
just went to a local card shop a few months ago, and like a couple months ago, he got a Slow King as well. And honestly, that thing looks so clean. It's not even funny.
Oh, a
Like
card
I
shop? Just
told,
a random card shop?
he's just a random card shop. He showed it to me. He was like,
What'd he grab it
Shivam,
for?
should I? He got it. He spent 400 on it. And I'm like, bro, that's a good price. Like that's a really good price for a mint one. Cause like you go on eBay right now, people do have them listed for like, I don't think anyone's gonna sell it to you for any less than 750. I think after Lugia, like the Slow King's the more desirable one,
Mhm.
because the Slow King as well as the Elekid are the 2 cards that don't have any 9s whatsoever.
Mhm. Okay, everybody shield your eyes because I'm about to show you something very disturbing.
Yes.
There it is.
What?
This
What? You running over it with
is
your car on the concrete?
That's the one
what it
that
looks like
microwave.
when you pull these.
Yeah, he
Wait,
showed it to me and I was
what?
like, I was heartbroken.
This is what it looks like when you pull these, because Topps cards stick so badly. So
You just
not only
said
have to get
heck
lucky
it,
enough
huh?
to pull it. I've tried everything. It was literally super glued to the card in front of it. It doesn't make any sense how somebody at Topps could be like, yeah, this is good.
I
More
really would
quality
like to
control.
have like a chemist or something, like sort of look at these cards and look at what actually makes it sticky, and then have like create this sort of way to basically make it unsticky, so where you're actually able to
There probably
remove the card.
is. Like
There's got to be something.
no, there is.
There
There's, like,
has to be something.
materials. Like it'd be under materials
I
and
just-
engineering and stuff.
I just don't get how it's been decades and they still haven't figured out how to make the Topps cards not stick.
Yeah, I have no idea. But let's I don't think we ever really, I mean, we kind of touched on it. We kind of danced around the topic between PSA and BGS and, you know, somewhat of the CGC aspect of it.
Mhm.
But you know, you prefer as of right now you're kind of sticking with the PSA aspect because like the BGS customer service portion of it is just straight ridiculous as to
Excuse
what's going on.
my language, but BGS service is dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so bad. I've never had worse service out of any company my entire life. The amount of disappointment I got out of that was just crazy. So, and not to sound like I'm just being that whiny brat that just got mad because his card took forever to get graded. It's because everybody that I saw grading with BGS at the time was getting their cards back in 5 days. Every single person.
Yeah.
I was talking to Murph, and in the time that it took me to get my card on Super Express, the highest level, back, he's got several Super Expresses back in that period. It should have taken no more than a week. I got my card Super Express graded with PSA, and it took 4 days. 4 days. Z&G mailed it out on Monday because he bought it for me, and I had him just send it to PSA directly. He mailed it out on Monday. He had it back by Thursday, and then I had it in my possession on Friday.
Yeah.
So every time I send my cards to BGS, I always email the person I was talking to at the time and just say, hey, let me know if you got these. And she'd be like, yeah, we got it. I'm like, cool. And
Yeah, like
with
as of late, like as a middleman, me having to deal with other people's cards
mhm.
at PSA, I had zero problems with PSA's customer
Yeah.
service or even their accounting. Like they're so happy to like even talk to you or like get through get through conversations. Like a lot of people give PSA
Mhm.
crap, and I mean rightfully so considering the extreme levels of backlog. But like
Yeah.
even then, I've had no issues whatsoever in
I
regards to
have
their customer
one.
service.
I have one issue with PSA, which I'll get through here in a second. I love that about PSA is the fact that they tell you. And that's why when I sent my cards off a year ago, I'm like, that's fine. I can still see, even on Lovekins, if you go through Lovekins, it gives you like a little step-by-step process that tells you how far along your cards have come, which is great.
Mm.
Yeah.
BGS, question mark, question mark, question mark. It's like that meme where it's like, come up with idea, step 2, question mark, step 3, profit. That, BGS, it's like, send off card, question mark, and next thing you know, you have it. Now, what's funny about this is when they located this card after 2.5 months, it was Friday. Friday at 11 a.m., they messaged me and they say, "Oh, we found your card. We'll start processing it." And I'm like, "Great." Now I have to wait another week probably. At
Well,
12:05, an hour and 5 minutes later, I got an email saying your card's been shipped.
bruh,
In that
Jeez.
hour, they found my card, graded it, slabbed it, and shipped it.
that is insane. I know with my first appearance cards at PSA, because I sent them through vouchers.
Are you more worried
Um,
about like how fast they did it, or
No, I don't care about the speed. I just want to know what's happening. The problem is the service that I ordered was 7 days. It was a
oh,
$300
so you're
service.
saying you could have
7
done that 2 months ago?
Well, the thing is I paid 300 and I
mhm,
got the service that's basically at the $150 level. Because for
yeah.
$150, it's 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me 2.5 months to get this graded. And the thing that really pissed me off is when I was talking to the rep, I'm like, yeah, just out of curiosity, you have my cards for over 2 months now. Am I going to get charged for the 2 month service or the Super Express? Because I specifically paid you for the 5 to 7 day
Mm,
service.
mm,
Oh,
Mhm.
we can't change that. I'm like, how do you sell me something but you charge me for something else? Like,
that's true.
do
Yeah.
you guys not see the problem here? It
Yeah.
wasn't about the fact because at the end of the day, I'm happy I got my card back, but it's the principle of it that they didn't make their issue. They didn't correct their issue
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
if I'm selling you something and I fuck up, I'm gonna fix that problem. If I sell you Magic Ruler and I send you Metal Raiders, I'm like, oh shoot, well let me hold on, let me go my collection and I'll sell you, I'll send you your whatever I owe you. I'll make it right. It's the fact that it did, and then at the end, they didn't even apologize for it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ridiculous. Like basically when you spend money on something on a
Mhm.
service and they give you a certain time frame, then I think they really do kind of need to honor that.
Yes.
It kind of goes back to a lot of people's videos. Like I know it kind of happened to Z&G Emporium. I know it happened to a
Mhm.
lot of people around the same time it has happened to me. Like I got upcharged the same time from PSA as many other people, and there was no consistency there. Like on what grounds is an
That.
upcharge? And so for
Yep.
me, in one of my submissions, for June, it's actually on its way back. There is 17 upcharges on it, and in that submission, there's 89 cards. But the others, I got August submission back before that. That has 168 cards, and there's plenty of tens in there. That had zero upcharges, and then the submission that I just got back was for July. That had zero upcharges too, and there's plenty of tens in that as well. And I'm like, What's the deal here? Like,
Now I have
makes
I'm
no
so happy you
sense.
said that. I'm so happy you said that. Before we get into that, let me just say about BGS. Uh, the other issue I had with them was I'm super blanking out right now. If I remember, I'll say it. PSA, yes, the upcharging is the one thing I don't like. Now, in front of you, I hold two of the same cards. You want to know
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
what's unique about these cards?
Is it
What?
the border?
No, they're both tens. They're both really really good conditions.
No, like
One of
is it color border?
no. This one was a $20 service level. This one was 200.
What the hell?
I got them back a week apart.
Oh.
Now, okay, you might argue that one of them made a mistake,
Yeah.
but their upcharging is the biggest bullshit I've ever seen
It
out of
is. There's no
any
consistency.
company. There's no consistency, and I'm just thinking like, because the thing that also kind of annoyed me is they graded my cards after a year, and then in that email when they sent me saying, so it was a $200 submission that they charged me $1,500 for. Which
Yeah,
again, it's fine. I expected, the upcharge because I know at the time they were doing it, and depending on what I was getting back, it could have been a bit ridiculous. I was expecting it, but I'm still thinking like, wait a minute. The email that they sent me was like, "We know you couldn't have, planned for this, but
I got the same email.
unfortunately." yeah, unfortunately, it's like these things happen. So you mean to tell me if I got lucky and I found a card that was, in my back of my closet or something, and I don't happen to have a lot of money, but I send you this card for like, let's say, a $200 grade, and you email me later saying, yeah, you owe us like $1,000 now, and you can't pay that. What do? Like, do they
I'm
just hold
pretty
your
sure they
card
actually take it
hostage?
out of the case.
They send it back to you. Like that whole upcharge thing is so bullshit. Like
Yeah, I agree.
again, if you have the funds for it, it's like you'll say whatever. If I say I got 10 back, I'm like, oh sure, like yeah, I'll take that. I'll pay the
Yeah,
extra.
yeah.
But what about the average person, the average collector that might not be able to do that because it took you guys a year to get to that card that you
Yeah.
promised someone a 30-day return that
Yeah.
again you couldn't have planned for because end of the day they did get slammed. I'm not blaming them for it,
Yeah.
but they should honor all those cards that they got and not they shouldn't
Absolutely.
upcharge. Now I know why
Yeah.
they do it. It's for insurance purposes. That's why.
Yeah.
It's not like a thing to make extra money. But then again, they might be hiding behind that to make extra money. I have no idea. But again, if you're just an average collector that doesn't have money to grade, and you get slammed with the email saying, "Hey, this said 10, but if you want it back, it's gonna cost you like I don't know what the most they'll charge you, but let's say $1,000. Like, what do? Like, do you just like do they have installments? Like,
Yeah,
what
they
do
do
you?
have installments.
They just,
they
I
do?
guess they just hold
yeah,
it. They just hold the card, I guess, right?
Yeah, they hold the card until all the installments are paid
Jeez.
for. So they give you that balance. So like every single time you have a submission, a month later they'll give you like another email
Jeez.
saying showing you what the actual remainder balance is. But yeah, I mean like I had 17 cards that were upcharged, and I asked the guy, it's like I was like, why? I was like, there's a lot of inconsistencies here.
Yeah.
Is there someone that I can talk to in the accounting? They're like, oh well. He tried to give me like the runaround. He was like, "Oh, if you can, just provide like which cards that you disagree with in terms of the upcharge, and shoot that back over to me." I'm like, "I shouldn't have to do that. You're the one that
Yeah.
graded the cards. Figure that out on your own."
That's why I found this interesting because again, this as you can see, it came back in a sleeve. When they put it in a sleeve, they give you like the higher quality treatment.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
a week before I got this back, this was a $20 per card submission. Every card came back as a 10 in that batch, and they didn't upcharge me for a single card. And by the way, I don't think that was even a mistake because there were definitely cards in that batch that would have fit in like the higher tier level. They just they either didn't check anything or what. But this card was hidden amongst not hidden, but this is part of like the bigger batch that had some vintage cards. So that's probably when they reviewed it and they're like, yeah, this is 200, this is 200, this is 200, and that's why my upcharge was so crazy. But again,
Yeah.
my problem with that is these guys, they don't do that.
No.
They don't do that.
Mm-mm.
So if they don't have to do it, why does PSA have to do it? That's why I'm like, are they actually just secretly hiding that behind their way to make extra money? Are they just hiding behind?
But
the whole
BGS
insurance
is
thing?
already, you pay a higher premium already, right?
I think they're both pretty expensive.
I think BGS is cheaper now.
Yeah, BGS has to be cheaper now.
Because no. Actually, no. PSA. Yeah, no. Yeah, BGS is cheaper because I know their 7-day Super Express equivalent of PSA used to be $200. Now it's $300. But for BGS, it's $250, and then you have to pay for shipping and stuff like that. So which ends up being about $300 as well. But technically, BGS is cheaper, but just barely.
Yeah, it's barely because like that the 300 for PSA for their Super Express is not including the insurance aspect of it for the shipping. So
yeah, well, I meant prior to the bump up.
Yeah, prior PSA was cheaper, absolutely 100%. But that's just because like
that
you're not getting
subgrades
subgrades
during then. Oh yeah.
Which is something that I also don't understand. If you're sending a card at BGS and you don't ask for like if you're already like getting a card, right? And they're already authenticating it and you're not asking for subgrades, they're technically already giving the card its subgrades. So why not just put the subgrades there? Like why is it adding subgrades there more expensive? Like that to me makes no sense.
Cash grab? CGC
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point.
And why I've every single submission that I've had since last year, I've always put down in the notes, can you please return the card savers? Nope, never got them back. I'm like, why?
I've done that a couple times, and they do send me the card savers.
What? I've done it every single time, and I've never received it. And in popular opinion, I think that, for Super Express, they always put your slab in a team bag. Team bags don't cost a whole lot. Just go ahead and do that with all the slabs.
Yeah, I mean, for what you're paying, absolutely, I agree. They'll have to put out a little bit more money per card, but I mean, they're making enough. At least I think they're making enough.
Like if you're already encasing the slab and you're putting it in a box, just put it in like a team bag.
While we're on the topic of grading cards, let's talk about CGC. Ooh. You know what my problem with CGC is?
Yes.
Tell us.
No.
The grades don't make any sense.
Really?
So with CGC, well, this is why. when CGC first came to the scene, the joke was, oh, they probably grade easy, you know, and everybody was going to CGC mainly because they had no wait time or they had like very very like slow wait time. How many CGC 10s have you seen? You
I've
mean
seen
to tell
plenty.
me, well, compared to like PSA and BGS, like I can't speak on every single CGC
I
card,
think it's
but
just
in
because it's
general,
modern that I'm seeing.
well, that's why. That's probably why.
Yeah.
In general, I almost never see CGC 10s, and I'm 100% convinced that they just don't give out 10s because it's their version of pop control, and they
Yeah.
probably don't want to give 10s because if you see a CGC 10, you probably think like, oh, they probably graded really easy on it.
Mm.
Almost every single time I've seen an older CGC card, it's always like an 8.5 or 9 or 9.5. You never see 10s, and it's like, okay, is it really not a 10, or are you just not giving these points out? Again, I know PSA does it. I know BGS does it. Is CGC doing more?
Yeah, it could be a way of saying like, hey, we're better than these two grading services, so that's why we're gonna go ahead and pop control more than what these two grading services are already doing.
Pop control is that's why I think like Black Label and like the super fancy 10s are all trash. That's why I like PSA, because PSA is just gonna, if PSA tells you it's 10, hey, this is good, it's good quality. It's fantastic. You might have one flaw here and there, but it's a 10. It's a consistent 10. Whereas with BGS and I guess CGC now as well, when they give you the subgrades, you're just thinking like, okay, you gave my centering a 9.5, but I'm like, if I take a picture of this and point it in Microsoft Paint and super zoom in and count the pixels, there's no
Yeah.
centering issues here. So what made you give us like
That's
what's with
sort
the
of like my
extra like harsh?
McDonald's pristine Charmander that I have. I got it around the same time as I got my first edition Charizard, and it's a pristine. There's only one issue with the actual subgrade, and only one of them only has a 9.5, and so it's like, why should I have part of me believes like a lot of these people, they do this on purpose simply because of the fact that they know they're going to make more money off of you, because they know you're going to want to send it back more until it actually gets the grade it deserves.
That's the conspiracy theory that I had, and I know I've cracked out cards before they came back 10s. I've done it so many times. Like the most infamous one for me is I pulled that Gold Star Mew that I mentioned. It graded a 9, an 8, a 9, and then a 10.
Yeah.
There's nothing on that card. When I get a card back and it's not a 10, I will look over it and I'm like, okay, for example, I got this Southern Island Mew that got a 9, and I know on the bottom corner there's like a little tiny ding. So I'm like, okay, this is 100% is a 9. But then like I got a submission back 2-3 weeks ago where they gave my base set 2 Venusaur a 10. They gave my Dragonite a 10 from Expedition, and they gave something else a 10. And I'm like, how are these 10s? They got a little flaw in the corner. But then the exact same issue that exists on this Lugia 2 times. These were 9s.
Yeah.
Okay, so either I want you, this is going to sound weird, I want you to take my Venusaur and my Expedition Dragonite back and give them 9s, or give these guys 10s, because they had the exact same issue. The exact same issue.
I think you just have too many cards to look over and actually be accurate with it. So,
and by the way, just for the record, perfect centering. There's no scratches. Literally, the only thing that these guys have is like the tiniest like a little. It's not even a ding. It's like an excess cardboard that's not even part of the card. And they probably started like, yeah, no, this is a 9. No, it's pop control. It's pop control.
And how much?
I would love to be like a fly on the wall.
How much are you paying to regrade it?
Well, right now I can't, but I was gonna express grade for 75 a card.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I think they see your name and they're just like, oh, more content.
I think grading a card on regular or economy level is probably the smartest thing to do, because when you send a card in for Super Express or like Express, that means there is more like, I guess, desire behind. Like, you want this card back as soon as possible. Also, that means it's a high end card.
Yeah.
And they're probably gonna be like, oh, this is a high end card, don't give it a 10. Because I feel like because the thing is
not bad.
I never said this before. I've never graded Express until last year.
Same.
In the last 5 years, I've always sent in on regular and whatever like specials that they had. And that's why I feel like the only reason why I got that many 10s that I have is I feel like they are more accurately graded, because they knew that it was just like a card I sent it to them. Whereas if you send something in Express, they're gonna look at it back, yeah, we're not gonna give it a 10. Here's a 9.
Yeah.
With grading, majority of the cards that I've graded before the big boom that just happened in the fall, it was all cards from specials all the way up to Express. I didn't even start doing regular until the fall, summer, and those were my own personal cards, my own personal submission. I sent those all through regular. They didn't go through Express. Like, I'm talking about my first edition, Hollow Dark Charizard that came back as an 8. My first edition Neo Genesis Lugia that came back as a 7, stuff like that. And Yeah, I sent those through regular at that time because I mean at that time those cards in terms of market value were worth anywhere. I think they were like $100 at the time, $100 to $200 at that time,
Hmm.
each at that specific condition because I bought all of those off of Troll and Toad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it. There's so much inconsistencies, and the thing is that with PSA, they say they have two graders looking at it. How can you have two different
Yeah.
people looking at the cards and then not come into this conclusion?
See,
Like, what if they come into a complete disagreement? What happens then? Who is there to
yeah.
basically break that tiebreaker?
My problem is if I send a card back and it comes back at 10, it's like what happened this time?
Yeah. Well, what changed?
This graded a 9 first. This
Yeah.
is the Japanese version of this card. It's not on center. It's off center.
Yeah.
Well, a matter of fact, now I'm looking at it. What the fuck? Oh my god! What? I had never even like super like observer card. There's a huge like ding in the corner.
Yeah.
How is this a 10?
Makes no sense.
That's why,
Jeez.
like, when I get a card back and I see that it got a 10, the first thing I do is I look. I'm like, is this really a 10? Okay, this is cool. If I get a card back and I see it's a 9 and I literally can't see a flaw in it, I'm like, okay, this is going to get sent back. Like, oh, the thing you'll probably notice is every time you see someone do like a grade return video, they usually will immediately complain like, oh, this should have been a 10. This should be a 10. But the reason why they do that is because a lot of times they really should have been a better grade, and
Yeah.
there is pop control. Now, there are times in the past where I'm looking at a card like, oh, this should have been a 10. I can't believe I got cheated here. And then I look at the card afterwards, or I see a comment that they point out like, oh, maybe there was a flaw over there. Oh, yeah, there's a flaw there. They were right. But again,
Yeah.
in general, like I'm happy they got AI grading now because there's gonna be fingerprinting with the cards where they super take a
Mhm.
photo of it, so you're never gonna have the same card twice, and they'll be a lot more accurate. But again, the question is will they do the fingerprint technology on every kind of card or only modern? Like, what's gonna happen for modern? Because if modern day cards are getting submitted and more 10 start popping on left and right, I feel like that's gonna damage their reputation possibly. I don't know how to call
I
it
think it just
because
hurts. I think it will hurt the overall
Mhm.
value of the cards. Honestly, like we can obviously say that print quality for a lot of these cards are a lot better than what the print quality was for cards like back during the WotC era. Like
Mhm.
100%, like print quality for cards is a lot better. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, you get that every now and then off-centered card, but like off-centered cards from modern day cards is drastically different and marginally different than off-centered cards back during like the WotC era. Like
Yeah.
in Team Rocket and Gym Challenge, the cards are drastically off-centered in comparison to, let's say, a modern day set like Vivid Voltage. Like
Mhm.
you can, I mean, obviously you can easily tell what's off-center because like the whole full art, border,
Yeah.
that's easy to tell when something's, leaning to the left more and leaning to the right more. But I honestly, I just think that's a big thing right there. And I don't know. I think it kind of makes it more difficult with these newer cards to graders. I think,
Mhm.
like, hey, this is really really hard to tell. Like, why is this a 10 in comparison to this? Like, what's the
Yeah.
difference here?
When I bought my Rainbow Rare Shards of VMAX, I made sure the one that I found was like perfect centering.
Yeah,
So when I got that 10, I know it's a solid 10.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
I've also seen 10, so I'm like, this is not a 10. Like, I mean, it is because in their grading scale, it might be like a 10, 10, 10, 9.5 or 10, 10, 10,
right.
9. It's still a 10. It rounds up to a 10. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you see, I would see like, first edition Chalice Charizard that have like centering issues, but
Yeah,
it got a 10. And people always like, oh, it's not a 10. No, it's a 10. It's not a strong 10. Like, you could have a weak 10. That's the thing.
I think
But
I, I
if
think
a card
another
is like
thing
a
that I
weak 10,
yeah.
or if a card is like not even a weak 10, that's when it's a problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem. I think another point to add is that I know a lot of people. I see a lot of people who make the comments as like, oh, YouTubers only go with BGS because that's where their biggest investments are, or they go with PSA because that's where their biggest investments are. I think at the end of the day, if you're collecting high end cards as a collector, I don't think it matters what grading company you go to because at the end of the day, you're buying the card's condition, not necessarily the number itself. So
Yeah.
let's say there was a CGC 10, a PSA 10, and a Black Label 10. I think as collectors, we can pretty much say like screw the actual company that's actually doing the grading. We're gonna compare the actual conditions between those three companies and the cards itself at that
Mhm.
point, and we're going to value the one that has the best condition at that moment. So the whole idea of, oh, so and so only grades with PSA, and so like that's because they're only invested into that company. That's entirely false. It's because
Yeah.
you're grading with what has the most consistency, what grading company you're more
Mhm.
comfortable with. But at the end of the day, we can all pretty much agree that we're gonna buy the car that has the best condition. Period.
I just saw that photo you threw up of you on the stream.
Hey, I look good. I look good.
You know what I will say though is the best first edition Challenge Charizard that exists is not even BGS or PSA. It's just SGC. That Charizard
Really?
is so for,
You
that
think
Charizard,
that black tuxedo?
Yes.
Ooh.
I had a meltdown seeing that. I'm like, that's over $360,000. Not even PSA and BGS. How this is? It can't be real. But then
The
I saw
MBC
the card.
Michael,
Yeah.
I think it's Michael Baker.
I saw the card. I thought SM Pratt got it.
I don't know who got it.
Well, either way, that SGC card that sold a couple months ago for $360,000 is the most flawless Chalice Charizard I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah,
And I feel like if we're ever going to be in a situation where either a fourth pristine 10 exists or potentially a black label, it's that one.
yeah. I honestly, I would
Yes.
like to see that card get crossed over to something.
Okay.
Mhm. I'm gonna say right now, I think BGS is the best cases. They feel sturdy, they feel strong. What
They
I
just
hate
look
about
nice.
PSA sometimes is you know how sometimes you got that extra space, you can see the card
Oh, you can
move.
shake it. Yeah.
I hate that.
I know it doesn't damage it. Someone did a
No.
test where they did like a shaker and
Yeah,
it does
Pat
not
Flynn
damage
did it. Shout out to Pat Flynn.
But I still hate seeing how it's loose in there, and it's not every single card. Sometimes they have cards where they have like a clear film in the background or something that kind of keeps the card in place. BGS, the cards are so well in place. On top of that, the case feels good. It feels like strong. It feels expensive. You're not going to pick up something heavy. You know it's expensive.
Yeah,
that's how
that's
BGS
Yeah.
cases feel. Whereas PSA
Big
cases,
boy.
while they're more consistent, questionable consistency. I think BGS have the best cases, but I'm still going to stick to PSA at the end of the day. If
I do
if
like
my
the-
Lugia came back in 8, I would have probably never crossed it. The only reason why I sent it off to BGS is because I'm like, this is not a 6. They need to do their research.
I don't know.
And
I'm not gonna lie.
Shiv, you go through it right now. They gave you a bunch of 5s. And
Yeah,
I've seen those cards. They're not 5s. Those are not
they're
5s.
at least the minimum. I think all those 5s. Like I was going through my live at the time. At minimum, I think they like. I'm not the type of person like, oh, this deserves a higher grade than it deserves. Honestly, at the least, I could understand on some of them like, hey, this is probably a 6. You know, 6
Yeah.
at best. Maybe a 7 on one of these. I know. I definitely got shafted on my Ladybug because when I first got it, I was like, man, this has to be at least an 8 minimum. At least an 8 minimum. Either PSA just doesn't see these cards too often, so like they're just giving these cards random grades because it's like, oh, it's within this special realm of grades, and they don't get too many of these to sort of go back and look at, so they're just gonna give it some random grade. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I also think that where they've hired so many different employees and it takes them at least 6 months to train these employees, I don't think they know essentially what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And so that
I
kind of
agree.
makes it kind of difficult in regards to that. And so like part of the reason why I went through PSA is simply because of the fact that where I do have my PSA 8 Lugia, I really did want to have a registry done for my entire first appearance set. And the only thing that I'm really missing is Slowking. So like I was like, okay, let me go through PSA and go through that route because I'm super comfortable with going PSA. I know what I'm doing with that. BGS, it's like it kind of becomes a little bit more of a hassle for me when it comes to submission. But I don't know, man. I think
If BGS didn't operate like they were in 1996, I would probably use them more.
yeah.
Like their
I don't
website is
know.
god awful.
Like you would think that after so many years of like PSA grading tops cards, or like after so many years, how is it that BGS is a more of a younger company knows how to grade tops cards better than PSA?
And they
who has
make
20
money.
Years.
I know they have the money to improve the system.
Yeah, they do.
See, my problem with the whole Lugia fiasco I had with them is I feel like if I wasn't a content creator, I would have not gotten my card back in a year. The only reason why they replied is because so I emailed them, no response. Emailed them, no response. I bitched about it on Twitter. And then that's when people started replying. I didn't see it the first time. They replied to my tweet within like a couple hours, but I missed it originally. And the only reason why I saw it is because I just happened to look it up. I was wanting to just look it up to see people talk about BGS. And I saw that reply to me. I'm like, oh, they replied. And in that tweet, they were like, you got to check with your rep, DM for more. And that's what I messaged them back and they didn't reply back. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then like a week later, I tweeted about it again. They saw my tweet. They replied. They followed me. We talked in DMs. And even when they were talking to me in DMs, they were just like, look, man, I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm like, look, man. Look, man. Who says look, man? I'm trying to figure like who talks like that? Like, bro, you guys gotta like really work on your customer service and your overall system.
Jeez.
I just know that if I wasn't a content creator, I wouldn't have got that card back. And then when I got it back in a year, I probably would have been charged $300 still for that card. They
Jeez.
still
I think
have
I already told you this, but I think I told no, Yizzy knows this and you know this too, Ryan. But like they actually lost my first appearance cards for like 2 months. They
I
didn't
know they
find it.
lost
Like,
mine. I know they lost mine.
no, they straight up lost mine because like so the thing is that you know how like, you can put multiple different kinds of submission services in one
Yeah.
box and send it up to PSA. Well,
Mhm.
I put in you know like the thing is that for some reason they put my vouchers in the same sort of submission category as economy, but I put a declared value to the point where it was basically a regular submission, which was which is basically the agreement that you know when you max it out, it should be in the regular side, not economy,
Right.
so to speak. And so they instead kind of downgraded it and put it in economy, which one didn't make any sense to me. Two, you know, I sent in a regular submission at the time and an express submission at the time.
Mhm.
The regular submission came back and the express submission came back as well. And here I am wondering like why isn't my voucher system based cards coming back? I called them, the lady over the phone, and this is like a week. Like I'm talking to accounting and their customer service for like a straight week, and they had no idea what was going on. They kept pushing me like between the accounting and customer service. Customer service wouldn't pick up,
Mhm.
so I had to call back accounting. It's like, hey, where are my cards? And they were like, oh, we don't know. And so like basically 2 months later, I get an email saying that they finally found it, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And
The
it makes
funny
you like
thing with
super
that,
concerned in the sense of like, what if they actually damage my cards in the process, like where they
right.
lost it for 2 months?
The funny thing about that is when we were going back and forth with my Lugia, and by the way, I never did that. Usually with PSA, I'll send double submissions in a single box.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've never done that with BGS. I've only used BGS a total of 3 times. No, 4 times. Once last year. Then I sent them 2 more submissions over the course of the last couple of months. Once in September, which by the way, not in the system yet, and then once again in December. And then of course the Lugia that I got, back in like March, which they didn't grade until the end of May. When they graded my Lugia, they were like, "Hey, just to make sure, you have 2 more submissions with us, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, we're gonna try to locate and get that done too." I'm like, "Okay, cool, nice." By the way, they haven't said anything about those yet. So now I'm thinking, like, should I message them and be like, "So you sent my Lugia, but what are my submission from September and my
Yeah.
December?" Which right now, according to what you said, it should be done because when they quoted me last year, they're like, by the way, we got your submission. It's trending in 55 days. It'll take 55 days to grade. It's been way longer than that. When I talked to them again in May, they're like, oh, it's about 7 months. I'm like, okay, well, it's been more than 7 months. So should I message them back like, hey, what about those other 2 submissions? Like, are you good with those? Because we're moving on to almost 8 months now. I got to check actually on that. I completely forgot. But the thing it's annoying is like those are processing. Why is there not a system in place in a website that says processing? If I
Yeah.
look, my BGS orders are just 2 that wanted to finish last year and my Lugia, but not the other 2.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think all these grading companies, if we're paying them so much money to get our cards graded, and I think we expect a certain level of service that we were receiving before this, boom. And once the boom started, we started seeing a whole lot of inconsistencies,
Yeah.
right from the jump, right from the jump. And I think at that point, um, it's like, why am I spending this much money? Why am I waiting? Why do I have to wait half a year just for these cards to come back, and then me having to send them back to you just to spend more money? Like that makes no sense. Like
Mhm.
I would like to, honestly, I think there needs to be a certain level of transparency between all these grading companies. Like, I know earlier when CGC first came out, people were giving myself and Yizzy so much crap, and I'm like, we're just being unbiased here. We're gonna give crap to all the grading companies if there's like, because obviously there are pros and cons to everything, and so I think there needs to be even more transparency. Honestly, I wish my grader would have like a GoPro on while he's
Mhm.
grading my card, and like
Well,
I would
I don't need all I don't need all that, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're
I
saying.
would love to like
I mean,
honestly I would
there's
just like
some
say,
type of transparency because they have a counter on like how like where under certain number they're at the moment. But
yeah, but
I mean,
sometimes,
and then
dude,
as far as like
sometimes it's
grading
completely
process,
inaccurate.
yeah, that's true. And as far
Because
as
like
like the
I'll have it
grading
on step
process,
3. Oh,
as
sorry,
far as the
I'll have it
grade,
on step 3.
go ahead.
Oh, I was saying like sometimes I'll have like a 200 card submission on step 3, and literally a week later it's completely done grading. I'm like, what happened to all the in between steps?
No, I
But
meant like the
yeah.
overall number. The overall number, there's
Oh
like
yeah.
a counter for it. Like what part of the millions they are in the overall like overall submission rate. Like PSA is doing that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we're unable to just tell because due to circumstances of like COVID, I think Rhymestyle hit it on the head. Like there needs to be some type of communication, like an understanding.
Yeah,
Like
that's all.
even
That's all I want.
yeah, even
Even
you,
when
Shiv.
I'm
Yeah.
going through my email. I'm literally emailing her right now. I'm going through my emails. Like I'm not angry in any of these emails. I'm always just saying, look, as long as you tell me what's going on, that's all I care about. I don't care if it takes 8 months to grade my stuff. If I
Yeah.
pay for 8 months, I'm okay with it. Just tell me what's going on, and
Yeah.
don't say, "Hey, we got your other stuff in processing as well," but then I hear nothing else in almost a month. Like,
Look, man.
look, man.
You'll learn today.
You only saw my no, yeah,
It
Shiv,
just
you go
threw
through
me
it
off.
too.
Like he really just said, "Look, man, I'm trying." I'm like, "What are you trying?"
'Cause you're
You
hired.
work there.
Yeah, you get paid. And it's not like we're like being like straight up assholes
Mhm.
to people. It's just like we're honestly just being nice. Like we just want to know where our cards are at, you know? Like we spend so much time, like you're talking about like cards that are straight up rare, like in some cases cards that not many people in the world entirely have, or like even just cards in
Look,
general for the
man.
most part. Like it takes time to get these cards, and you're putting
Trying,
money
bro.
into it. Like if I put money into, let's say, bulk or a quarterly special, honestly, I'm in no particular rush to get it back, right? But if I'm like, for example, I have James Kennedy's submission at PSA via Express, and at that time when we paid for it, we were thinking like maybe 2 months, maybe a month to get it back in terms of turnaround time. You're paying $75 a card. At that point, it's like, hey, maybe you guys should definitely go ahead and get that submission done first. But it's 5 months. I'm about to get it probably here soon, probably a couple weeks in July. That's why I think it's gonna probably come back. But like, honestly, it's ridiculous. You're paying like that. That's why I don't like the whole estimated turnaround time and the whole thing around that. It's like, oh, okay, you guys change it up on us.
Mhm.
Like originally, cards
Again,
that
I get it. With PSA, I think when they upped their prices in March, they received like 3 million submissions in that same week. It was something crazy. It was
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
They're getting absolutely just hammered, and they're doing their best to keep up. So I get it.
yeah.
But just again, if I go on your website, there's no reason why I should still say, but BGS, for example, it still says 10 to 15 day turnaround for Super Express. But what they do is they'll say 10 to 15 days plus. That plus protects them.
Yeah.
There's no
I mean,
reason why
PSA did the same.
yeah. Well, they should fix it. It should say, "Hey, this is a year submission." It doesn't say that.
Because I don't know if you remember, but back when bulk was still going on in the summer of last year, they had
Mhm.
a 65-day estimated turnaround. Like they still had the estimated turnaround times at that time. And then once October came around and those submissions hadn't came back, they
Mhm.
removed it. They just basically said, "Oh, it's just gonna come back when we're done," basically.
Yeah.
Like they used to have estimated turnaround times for all of these things, and then it just went away. It's like, oh, you're paying 25 days for this turnaround. Nope, it's gonna be like 3 times that.
That's why I'm happy that they cut all the different levels and just took a break. And I feel like honestly, we're probably not going to get the services come back next month as they're aiming to
July.
do.
Yeah.
They're probably going to not going to get that until like maybe August. And once we get to August or September, whenever they actually do it, they'll probably only introduce Express first, and then maybe regular and so on.
I
See, I
think what
feel
they
like
need to do is cap off
I'm
like
going
the
to make
amount of cards
a
going in.
bold prediction here.
Mhm.
Value and economy is going to go away. It's only going to be regular and express and super express.
Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't
I
think
mean,
that's
if I'm
bold.
paying
I think
rate,
that's pretty accurate. Because they don't need to make any more money. They just need to meet customer demands at this point. Like that's their
Yeah,
biggest issue. Making
that
money is
too,
not an
plus
issue at all.
and if they ever get to the point where they're declining in submissions, then they can bring those back. But I feel like right now, they're not in a position to even have those because
I
the
think they
problem
need to
is
also like based upon the current membership that they have, I think they need to offer a cap off. Like you can only send in this many cards at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
that,
You know,
that's a
time.
good
you
idea.
know HGA, like how you order top loaders. There's like it's like a bidding process. So like they open up submissions and you have to send in like I want to submit 10 and only give 10 to each certain people.
Hmm.
HGA is doing that. They open up for one day. They say we're only allowing 5,000 submissions for this week, and then you have to log on to like possibly get 10 submit. Like the cap off is 10 submissions, so you had to
Hmm.
bid, not bid, but you had to enter in just to win 10 submissions for your cards and then pay for it. Just kind of like sneakers, you know.
Yeah, no, that
So
makes sense. That makes
I
sense.
think there needs to be a cap off because like I know plenty of like middlemen who like submit well over 700 cards to
yeah,
just PSA
See,
alone.
that's so crazy to me. And I think the issue is people are, and this is you could probably blame content creators, streamers, media outlets, anybody that's covering Pokemon. Because the problem is and Shiv, Yizzy, I know you've probably seen this before. You'll get a PSA 10 back. You're like, yep, this is like $1,000 card. Someone's like, hey, I have 7 of those in my closet. No, you don't. The 7 you have in your closet are probably like they've gone through a washer, they've been stepped on, they've been chewed up. That's not the same thing. But the thing is despite explaining what a PSA 10 is and like the actual grade behind it, people don't understand it. So they'll go back. Or for example, when you mentioned that Chalice Charizard sells for 100 grand, they're like, oh, I have that. It's 100 grand. No. First of all, you have an unlimited Charizard, number one, and two, that unlimited Charizard is probably a PSA 3. Yeah. Problem is everybody's like rushing to their collections and their attics and their closets. They're digging everything up and just firing it all off. And then when they get it back, they're like,
they're confused.
Yeah. And see, it's like every time a content creator, just real quick, there's nothing that annoys me more than when content creators and streamers do openings and they tell the people that are buying the cards from them, like, this is $100,000 card. No, it's not. It's not. It's maybe $1,000 raw. If it gets a 9, maybe it's like 7 grand. Stop saying it's a 10, because it's like, and it's not their fault. A lot of times you can tell that they generally just don't know. They just assume that if they pull a card pack fresh, it's a 10. They don't know that, and a lot of people did prematurely hop into the hobby after all the hype that happened in the past year, and they just generally don't know, and they'll learn over time. It's like we just need more information that people can absorb and then, regurgitate to everybody else. Because once you get to the point where people realize, if you open a vintage box, it doesn't guarantee all 10s. That's when everything will kind of start like leveling out, and more people will kind of understand what they have, what they're submitting, and what they should get graded.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. Shout out to Jordan Fringe. He's in the chat right now, kind of roasting me right now.
So he's not necessarily like, they're not necessarily like trying to fool people or like misinforming people. Is they generally don't know sometimes.
Yeah, they just don't know. There's a lack of information.
Sometimes some people might be deceptive, because we there's a lot of deception in the community. Like
there is.
Shiv, I saw the thing you had on TikTok the other day where a guy was selling basically pre-cut packs.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of deception that exists. But in general, most of these content creators that people point fingers at, they just generally don't know. And once you tell them, instead of getting mad at them and getting angry and yelling at them, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, let me just go ahead and fix that lack of knowledge, and I'll do better next time. I've seen them improve. I've seen it. It's just the problem is they don't know. They'll see stuff get listed for certain prices and think, oh, I can sell for that much, and they'll list it as well, and then people will buy it from them just because, they think that this is what the right price is. Once they're corrected, then they realize, oh, okay, well, let me just fix my issue, and then they do evolve.
Yeah. And I think another thing is, like, if they do increase their prices across the board, which I'm pretty sure all of us can agree that, that's going to happen, I think that it will force people to really sit down and consider really sit down and just weigh out the options, in the sense of, like, is this really worth sending in at that moment? Like, if I have a $5 card, do I really want to send it into PSA?
Yeah.
Is it truly a 10? Is it truly worth sending into? Is it truly sentimental to me to get it graded? And I think those are things that people are going to have to really think about once PSA opens back up, and once, BGS opens back up. I mean, PSA is not really closed. It's just that the majority of the services are closed. But you guys know what I mean. And just sort of like to wrap it up, Rhymestyle, go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you're working on. Any new projects that you're working on?
Nav asked me the exact same question last week, and I had no idea how to answer it. I operate on a per day basis. I have no idea what I'm going to do in an hour from now.
So go ahead and tell us what you're going to eat today.
I don't even know that much.
Rhymestyle, I'm actually, before this scene, I'm actually part of I was part of the FGC community. And I know you play DBZ fighters.
Yeah.
I heard you were pretty good at it.
I hope you didn't see my Evo performance. Yeah,
I got out of pools at Evo.
Oh, so you were there?
Yeah.
So Bandai asked me to go to Evo to spectate the beta version of Fighters at the time, and I remember thinking, like, I've never done casting and I don't know how it works, but sure, if it's like, if it's like a video, I'm down. And their initial goal was they're going to have me and an FGC guy team up, and they also had my friend Afro Senju, who was also going to team up with someone else. Well,
he's dope.
The day of recording, our 2 partners were actually in pools, so they put me and Afro together to cast. So like, oh, okay, so we'll just basically we'll see what's happening on the screen. We've never casted before, but we know how to make a video. So I remember we casted in front of so many people because we were all excited about fighters, and we were just basically talking like we normally talk. Now in FGC, like,
Yeah.
terminology,
Yeah.
fireballs,
Yeah.
plus on block. You know,
Yeah.
you know how you're supposed to
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
And here's me and Afro over here just yelling, just doing our thing. And I remember after that first stream, we were like feeling ourselves like, man, we killed that. That was dope. We should do more of these. The second we go in our hotel room, we sit down, we're looking at accounts like, oh my God, the FTC is not happy. We were set up to fail.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They know, these hardcore gamers. They know when you
Yeah,
say
people
certain-
were angry, and I was like, what did we even do? They're like, you guys didn't know the game. I'm like, well, it was a beta, but I get what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Look, it won't happen again. But I learned. You know, I'm going before that day. I had a lot of experience playing Street Fighter 4, but outside that, I was kind of
Oh.
like the casual anime guy. So like, like I
So-
know my fighting game terminology. I just didn't know how to do casting and stuff like that.
So
Oh,
we're
boy.
putting up the Charizards on the line a month from now.
I play Cammy. I play Cammy in Street Fighter 4. If I pick up Street Fighter 5 again, it's gonna be Cammy again. And if I remember correctly, Cammy got buffed. I think she got nerfed though.
Dang.
Yeah,
She
no,
got
she got
nerfed.
buffed.
He's trying to hustle you, man.
No, yeah.
He's
we'll
trying to
put up
hustle
our
you.
Charizards, maybe just
No,
limited
he's
at first,
hustling
you
you.
know.
He's trying to hustle you,
I got
Rhyme.
a Lugia, you know, up, you know.
So, but you play fighters though?
I don't. I only play Street Fighter 5.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so I gotta learn it in a month.
okay.
Reintervene.
Well, you gotta learn fighters, or you gotta learn Street
Fighters.
Fighter.
I gotta learn fighters.
Why?
Oh, I just never picked it up. I gotta
Oh,
learn
okay.
it. Yeah, I'm on
pretty,
Street.
it's the most casual friendly game that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. I play Street Fighter 5 competitively, but I left that.
Who do you play in that?
Karen Kanzuki.
Oh, I already lost to you.
No, I can pick. I'll play any character. I'll play random against you, random characters.
Okay, that's a lot
He's
of
good.
confidence.
He's trying to hustle you, man.
I
He's
said
good.
random. You can't be good at every character, right? You can't be a jack of all trades.
Well, if I'm playing Cammy, I'm not the best at it, but I feel like my Cammy can do something.
Yeah. Maybe in the future. Now, I just want to throw that out there, you know.
Quick question. I know you collect a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, but have you? I know you play a lot of Dragon Ball, but do we see you collecting any Dragon Ball Score or any Dragon Ball Super cards anytime soon?
Not score. Super, I completed my goal. You know, I got my Son Goku Awakened Power. In 2018 when it came out, I pulled it myself, and that graded a 10. And then my second goal was to get Apex of Power, which I bought both. I bought both for 400 each, like a year ago. And they both came back as 10s, which we talked about because one was upcharged, the other one wasn't.
Yeah. Any Digimon in the future?
No, I never got to Digimon. I the cards.
Yeah, the anime is great.
I love the anime. It's absolutely way better than Pokemon as an anime. I
agree.
stand by that. That's one thing that Digimon did right. Their merch
Dude,
sucks.
I remember you and myself. I know I was having an argument with Juice on Twitter, and then you came in and you put the RKO on him. He just went away.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lootbox and Drew.
I love the Digimon series. But as far as cards, I never could get into them. And I know you got into the more recent cards, and it's just something about it that's not capturing me yet. As far as Dragon Ball Super, to me, it's all about the limited stuff. I feel like with how big the DBS TCG is right now, we're never going to get that Tournament Power set ever again because that was a one print set. We're never going to get a Apex of Power set again. We might get more signature cards, but by then, the amount of cards that already exist that they create at the time is going to be so vastly different. If they do more signature cards, I'm down. If they do more SCRs that are iconic cards, I'm down. But we're never going to get a situation where they have another Son Goku Awakened Power or Apex of Power.
I know in vintage Digimon, I've been collecting series 3 through 6 pretty heavy for the past 6 months now, simply because of the fact of how short printed things were. But yeah, I mean that's the only reason why I collect it. But let's go ahead and start wrapping things up. Rhymestyle, thank you for joining us on this podcast. I think this is up there as one of our
longest
podcasts. It's not our longest yet. I think officially our longest one is with Alex Hodges, but yours is up there. Yours is definitely up there.
The most glitchiest.
Yeah, this is number one for glitchiest. The one where my camera goes out and I turn into a 2D character.
Show must go on.
Yeah. But we do appreciate you. I know we've been trying to get you on the podcast.
No. Sorry, keep on.
and I know a lot actually honestly for the longest time since the inception of our podcast itself, A lot of people have been asking you to be part of the podcast. So again, we do appreciate you. I know our audience pretty much, well, they definitely appreciate you for joining the podcast. So, Yizzy, you want to go ahead and show them how we sign off?
Oh, so every guest we have, we make them do our sign off, which is sips up with the pinky up, like you're sipping a teacup, and then you go deuces. You go deuces, and then
wait, hold on. Let me pull up. I'm watching on YouTube, so I'm like, okay, do it again.
Oh yeah, sips up, and then you do deuces, and then you salute out.
Okay, bet. So
Yeah.
pinky out.
Yeah. Peace
wait.
sound.
Okay, so pinky out, deuces.
Yeah,
and we're out.
Shiv can't do it with us just because under the circumstances.
Yeah, but I'll say it. I'll be the ghost. So sips up,
sips up,
deuces, and we're out.
See you guys. Thank you so much.